This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See, and then of course we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there, Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby, yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at Caneswear.com or InnerMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty, good morning, boys and girls. Ready to rock and roll from the beautiful dealership that is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Come on by, join us. We'll be out here for a few hours having some fun. Fun in the sun. That's what we do here at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. We have fun in the sun. Yes, sir. Well, I got a little bit of a glare coming off those cars there. The glare. It's a little too much. There we go. That's a little better now. Screw the glare. Anyway, we are here. We are not dropping it like Mr. Tony did yesterday. Wow. That dude lost the game all by his lonesome. Okay? I mean, that's it. Kadarius Toney. And, I used to call Ryan, I still call him Tannehill because he still is Tannehill. He will kill your season, kill your players with late passes, kill your drives, kill your playoff chances. Ryan is Ryan. That's why he's Tannehill. He's ready to kill anything in sight. And I guess we can call him Kadarius Toney Kill. Or one of our folks on Twitter said, "Kill Darius Toney." It's pretty good. I gotta say, Kill Darius Toney is probably a little better than Kadarius, Toney Kill. I gotta say, so I gotta give that person a little credit there. Kill Darius Toney is probably better, but he killed it. He killed it with those drops. Obviously, the one drop that ended up as an interception that the DB was like, "Hey, gift. Let me take it to the house and score." I mean, he gave away 7. You lost by 1. He gave away 7. By the way, I was right to take the points with the Lions. I know that Steve went with the over, and I had no problem with the over, but didn't get the over. But definitely got the plus the points with the Lions. And I mean, it's not that I counted on Kadarius Toney to get it done and screw it all up. And let me tell you, I'm a Kadarius Toney fan. That kid's got a boatload of ability. My God. And injuries have been more his problem. But yesterday, what the hell, dude? Talk about a guy that was not focused. I mean, they didn't lose because they didn't have Chris Jones. They didn't lose because they didn't have Travis Kelce. The Lions didn't win because they earned it. That whole thing that you've got Dan Campbell. "Oh, we knew we were going to win this game, right?" Yeah. No, you didn't. Kadarius Toney gave you the freaking game yesterday. Okay? Yesterday it was Christmas, and Kadarius Toney was Santa Claus, right? He was Kills Kringle. Okay? So he was Kills Kringle and said, "You get a tip pass, and you get me to kill a drive, and I'll go kill another drive." And because every time he dropped the ball, that was a first down he dropped. And then the other one, he just gave 7 points to the other team. I mean, if Kadarius Toney has any scruples whatsoever, if he has 1 ounce of professionalism in him, he had the worst night of his life last night. Did not sleep, tossed and turned, super pissed, and he should be. Remember, those of you that are old enough or were able to live it, the Mad Dog used to say when somebody had a performance like that, you need to stare at your shoelaces and make no eye contact today. Like that's what he would say. Like the Dolphins, lost, and today the Miami Dolphins need to stare at their shoelaces and make no eye contact with anyone based on that performance on Sunday. That kind of stuff that Mad Dog would say. That's exactly what Kadarius Toney should be doing. Staring at his shoelaces. Do not look at anybody in the eye. You don't deserve to look at anybody in the eye. And I would hope that he had the worst night, because he should carry the burden that he's the reason why they lost. And it had nothing to do with Chris Jones. Can sit there at the stadium watching the game and feel like, "Oh, they needed me." No, they didn't, dude. They didn't need you to beat the Lions. What they needed was that Kadarius Toney can't be a knucklehead. That's what it was. Travis Kelce, standing there on the sidelines cheering on his team. Huge loss for them, as you can tell when you watch that receiving core, because Sky Moore didn't show up either. But, I mean, Tony just, like, gifted that game to the Lions. Absolutely gifted. That was a terrible game last night for the Chiefs. Good start for the Lions, 21-20. Nice win. They're 1-0.
We already got our first Dan Campbell comment.
What do we get?
When he was asked what he learned about his team tonight, he said, I didn't learn anything. It confirmed what I already knew about this team.
Right.
Biting kneecaps, baby.
That's it.
Oh, let him win some more.
Get after them kneecaps. Or them ankles. Either one. Neck. Well, neck too, because Kildarius Toney choked. Damn, that was bad, dude. God, that was like a despicable performance by one person. And good morning to all out there. By the way, Steve Chapman, I see, is number 1 in the house. Jamie Zorria out in San Jose. Last night's game was not only a good game, but also a great example that the QB needs help and cannot win by himself. Of course. Of course. They only create, like that whole thing for Tua. Tua needs help. No, everybody needs help, dude. But those Tua haters, it's like, oh, you guys, like, Tua needs help. No, every QB needs help. That's why Dan Marino didn't win shit, because he didn't have help. If not, he might have won a title or 2 or 3 if he actually had help. But you don't win a title. You don't get anything when you don't have help. It wasn't Marino's fault. Brian Walters is in the house. Lisa Rose in. One-Eyed Jack. Sharon Calderon says, Jeff from Long Island here. How did Mahomes look with no O-line, no wide receivers? All Tua haters think about Tua had nothing to work with his rookie year. Yeah. Well, he didn't even have a coach either his rookie year. Sam the Man is in. Ray Sosa in. Castra Nostra in. Alexis. Tim Eason. Brooklyn Rob. Got my new Dolphins gear for me and the wife delivered yesterday from Caneswear. Thanks for the hookup. You are welcome. Remember Big O10. I never mentioned that. I got to start mentioning it a lot more. Big O10, so you can get 10% off at Caneswear. All right? So if you go online or if you go personally, Big O10, baby. Peaster 83. Steven Gonzalez is in. He says KC has problems on the O-line and goes to show how big Travis Kelce missing the game was. It was all Kadarius Toney, my man. All Kadarius Toney. They won that game yesterday. Kadarius Toney lost that game for them. Chiefs easily could have won that game. Miami Breaker, Boss B, Enoch is in. After last night's game, I'm more convinced that the road to the Super Bowl will run through Miami. I like it. Drago, Nyborg, Michael Garber says Virginia Tech in the Big O house. That's what he means by, right? With VT? Or does he mean Vermont? You're going to go with Vermont? Yeah. Okay. All right. Not Virginia Tech? No? Okay. We'll go with Vermont. It's Tech. All right. They had some flooding issues there in Vermont about a month back or some shit like that. Boy, in Europe, they've been getting some, walloped with floods in so many different countries. It's crazy. Adam Pinkser in. Alexander Renee Davis. Casa says, so eager to see what's made of this season. We all are, my friend. We all are. Devin Jordan in. Arcarillo. Nyberg says, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm calling Tampa this morning to see what it would take to get Mike Evans. Not sure if their cap would permit that trade. Yeah. Or as somebody said, also, if you're Chris Greer, on Twitter, they tell me, hey, you should be calling him about Cedric. Let's see. Red Skelton says the ability to run the ball by Detroit is a great sign. They can contend, albeit without Jones. We shall see. We shall see. They got gifted one yesterday. Think Dodgers blue. Nizzle. Alexander says Butterfingers Darius Tony here. You go to Detroit. Merry effing Christmas. Roger Goodell's burner says he wore a business suit. Okay. Nizzle. Red Skelton. JG Long. Premier Reviewer. Isaiah. Red says, thanks to the preseason, we don't have blooper reels in the first game like it used to be. Let's help Big O by smashing the like button, says Miami Breaker. Yes. And help Sean and everyone on the platform by view time, view hours, watching, watch time. So if you got to walk away, let it play. Remember that. Go do your chores and let it play, man, on this channel. Let it play as much as you can. If you're just walking around the house, let it play. You're at the office, you were watching it, but you got to go let it play. Let it play, baby. That's what we want you to do. Yes, sir.
No, I was looking at one of the questions Adolfo Faliaco was asking about. Big O, what was the issue with the O-line for the KC? The Lions were complaining about not getting a false start. Did you hear that?
Yeah, they're, some of the linemen are moving a little bit ahead of the snap and all that kind of stuff, and it's a thing that's been going on in the league, and so it's like there's a hold on every damn play, and you can call it if you wanted to, and they don't, and so it's just
I thought it was funny because Chris Collinsworth actually, once they found that guy, the NBC cameras kept it on him, and every time, even the lead guy, whatever that analyst guy is that they have in there,
their guy was like, "Hey, this is despicable."
Yeah,
bro.
He wasn't even, he was lined up, and then he was moving beforehand. But what's funny is KC noticed that when they played them in the playoffs, which is why they brought him,
right?
Because they saw him doing that, and that was one of the reasons that made him
right.
Well, KC wanted to sign. It's just it's so odd that
because they're letting them get away. But see, as they put the spotlight on it, they're going to have to start calling it. And so, they're trying to protect the quarterback, bro. That's all it is. Anything and everything they can to protect the quarterback. That's all it is, dude. That's what it's all about. So you breathe on the quarterback, they call a penalty. It just kind of the way it is. They have to protect the quarterbacks because that's what the league is all about, man. Can't do anything about it.
Wish they would give Tehran that. Let him get that much of a start.
Yeah. You're right. But hell of a game to start off yesterday, man. Hell of a game, dude. Let's go with our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we do that? Go over what happened last night. First of all, we'll go local. Dodgers routed the Marlins 10-0. Pepoit or Pepiot. 7 innings, a hit, 3 Ks, a .86 ERA. So Marlins unfortunately could not complete the sweep. But hey, man, they got 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. That's freaking awesome, dude. Okay. You blame the ball boy? Okay, I'll go with that. Yuri Perez, by the way, will take the mound tonight against the Phillies. Christopher Sanchez will be towing the slab for the Phillies. 2-3 and a 3.48 ERA. Yuri is 5-4 and a 2.86 ERA. Saturday, Texas A&M will visit Miami. Number 23, Texas A&M is favored by 3.5 here in Miami, and the over and under is 51 points. Texas A&M is minus 185 on the money line. Miami is plus 154. Also tomorrow, 7:30, huge game for Inter Miami. If they can pick up these 3 points, it might be the biggest 3 points of the season without several players in the lineup, including Lionel Messi, who scored in the 77th minute last night in a free kick outside the penalty box. And, he's lining up for that shit, and you're like, just count it, bro. Why are we even doing this? And sure enough, he caught the left corner. They beat Ecuador 1-0, but they'll be missing Messi and a bunch of players tomorrow. And Inter Miami is plus 110 on the money line. Sporting KC is plus 210 on the money line. Minus a goal, Miami is plus 110. Minus half a goal. Miami is plus 110. Plus half a goal for Sporting KC. They're minus 145. So Vegas has Sporting KC favored in this matchup, which they should, of course, because Inter Miami is missing a lot of people. We'll see what happens there. Also, Lions defeated the Chiefs last night, 21-20. Chiefs were favored by 4.5 in that game. Remember, we said Lions plus 4.5 on that one. That was our pick for that one. And then we've got on Sunday, the game that we will be covering here on the platform at 2:25. Our pregame coverage will start. Kickoff will be at 4:25. Dolphins at Chargers. Chargers favored by 3. Over and unders 51. The money line, Miami is plus 136. Chargers minus 162. I'm taking the points, and I'm taking the money line. Miami wins this game. I like Miami to win the game outright, taking the money line, and I'm taking the 3 points. I like that in this game. That, of course, is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Call my friend Alan Blanco, 786-251-3404. Custom printing and embroidery. They're at 980 West 22nd Street in Hialeah. Tell them that Big O sent you. So if your company, your club, your fantasy league, whatever it is, your business, uniforms, softball uniforms, promotional uniforms, whatever it is that you want to make for embroidery or printing, 3A Graphics can do a great job for you. Call them 786-251-3404. All right. All right. By the way, Cam will be joining us at 11 a.m. Manny Navarro will stop by at 11:30. Anthony Chang will stop by at noon, and Safed Dean at 12:30. So that is the lineup here for today. Got it absolutely loaded. Post game, we'll have Safed Dean and David Furonis will be chiming in on our post game show. So we'll have a couple of insiders fresh from the locker room to give you everything and anything going on. Hey, I was in the car driving, which obviously it's the only way you get here to Craig Zinzak or Pembroke Pines is by getting in a car and getting here. So apparently the cap matters to Omar Kelly. Yeah, cap crisis. Exactly. So Omar goes from the cap doesn't matter. By the way, you know what we need? Maybe you guys can help us here. And Sean, this is a job for you. Go back to some of our old Omar interviews from last year. We need to find, you guys can do it. You can help us too, because you guys are excellent at this stuff. Okay. Maybe you can help Sean also, because we don't know exactly where to find it. But we need to go get a couple of those sound bites where Omar says like the cap doesn't matter and it's fake and all that. We need those drops. So let's find them, okay? Because they're there. I mean, he said it a whole bunch of times, because one week obviously it matters and the other week it doesn't. I'm laughing because he writes all these articles about and listen, I love Omar. But as I told Poop a couple of weeks ago, okay, when I was busting balls and he got a little bent out of shape, I said, hey, bro, that's the way it goes. So, he was all bent out of shape about Omar or something. I told him straight up, I said, that's how it goes, bro. Nobody's safe on this platform. I told them, including you, you're not safe on this platform, dude. Like, I give a shit. Like, I worry about anybody getting bent out of shape or anything like that. You said it? Well, then it's out in public, right? So if you said it and I disagree with it or think it's completely out of line, well, then we're going to challenge it, or make fun of it or take shots at it. Like my man Poop when he said, oh, the Dolphins are a bubble team for the playoffs. Like, give me a break. That's letting Mike McDaniel off the hook by saying it's a bubble team. McDaniel doesn't get to be off the hook. There's no bubble team here. This is a really good football team. This team has got a bunch of talent. It's up to Mike Daniel and his staff to get it done. That's what it is. There ain't no bubble here. Just like you can't say 1 week that the cap matters and then the next week that it doesn't matter, that it's fake. When it's never been fake. But it's funny how, and then this is what I love about our, and this is media in general. You know what I mean? Let's create drama where there isn't any drama. Let's go right about the cap next year. Who gives a shit about next year? Seriously. But it creates drama. And anything and any hook I can write about to just create drama, I'm going to do it. That's what the media does in general, not just our media, everybody. New York and Chicago and San Antonio and Los Angeles and Seattle, everywhere. They all do the same shit. Let me go find something because I'd rather not just talk about something good because you guys don't read enough about the good. You want to read about all the bad. You want to read about the destruction. You want to read about an airplane full of crap. That's what you want to read about. You don't want to read about the firefighter saving the dog from the tree. You don't want to read about that. You don't want to read about the grandmother that fought off a robber or something. No, you want to read about Danny Masterson getting 30 years for raping 2 women. By the way, wasn't enough. So, he was from that 70s show, right? But 70, that's about the time he should get. 70 years. But anyway, so you're writing now, the cap next year. And it's like, dude, they're trying to win the championship this year. Gives a shit about 2024, 2025 season. You'll worry about that when you get there. Right now, if you win the title, let's just say, just to have fun with the media members that are like, oh my God, the cap next year, right? We haven't even started this season, and they want to create drama for next season. So let's see, just for shits and giggles. So what happens if this whole season plays out and the Dolphins win the title? What are all those articles that you were talking about the cap next year? What do they mean? They mean nothing because you won the title. Who gives a shit? Or if you make a deep run, who gives a shit? That's what you built the team for, right? To get to the playoffs and make a deep run and win a title. That's why they're not a bubble team. I'm not giving Mike McDaniel any breaks whatsoever. This ain't no bubble team. This is a damn good team, and you better win double-digit wins. You better do well. The only thing that can stop you or any team out there, any coach, is injuries. That can derail anybody's season, okay? But it better not be from your coaching. It better not be from player results because the players are there. It's up to you now. Get it done. But, it's like it's silly to be talking about the cap for next year. But it's a 24-hour news cycle. You got to invent shit. You got to come up with something. And you're certainly not going to come up with anything good. You got to come up with something dramatic because that's what you respond to. You don't respond to the good. You only respond to the bad. That's what you want to read. That's what you want to see. You want blood and guts on television. You don't want the firefighter saving the kitten from the sewer. You don't want to watch that. You don't care. You don't care if the Dolphins were delivering turkeys on Saturday before they played the game on Sunday to a whole bunch of families that could not afford a meal, and they were there to provide it. You guys won't watch. You guys won't care. But if some Dolphin gets arrested, then you want to find out. If some Dolphin smacks some guy in the marina, you want to find out. That's kind of the way it goes. And the media knows that. So let me play the drama game and let me write about something in 2024 that has nothing to do with the Dolphins right now. You've created that monster. Okay? Because if you told the media, we don't care about these stupid stories, they wouldn't write them. Their editors would say, yeah, they didn't care about writing about the cap last year. They actually were more interested in that profile that you wrote about the player and how he was raised and how he fought homelessness and all that. And that was great. But you won't read that. You won't read about Julian Hill and all that. You won't care. Now, if Julian Hill goes and gets arrested, that's the story you're going to read about Julian Hill. You don't read about him being homeless. You don't care. You don't give a shit about that. But if he gets arrested, oh, man, will you read that story and then call in, email, and text and rip the team and rip the front office and rip the coaches and rip the player. Not that Julian Hill did anything bad. That was just an example, folks, okay? So let's not get crazy here, okay? Just throwing it out there. You've created the monster. Frankie Fresco with the super chat. He says, I was blessed to check out the Fish Tank live in Dania this past Wednesday. They had as a special guest Joe Rose, and he says it just like you. Who cares about this cap? We should worry about this season, and this Dolphins team is legit. Of course, dude. It's ridiculous. And I love Omar to death. But my brother, you cannot go telling me for years that the cap doesn't count. And all of a sudden now the cap counts. Doesn't fly, my man. Doesn't fly. He was telling Joe, I know about the cap and I know how to free up cap space. And I'm like, dude, you're the guy that's been preaching that it doesn't matter. So now you're trying to preach that it matters? You can't do that. It does not fly. That's the problem with it. And Omar, by the way, at one point or another has to shit or get off the pot and say, hey, for years, I kept telling you that the cap doesn't matter. I was wrong. He needs to say that first. Just so you just can't brush over it because we're not going to allow it. We're not going to let it fly like that. I wouldn't let it fly. I get it over, although Joe does challenge him. Joe does challenge because Joe even told him, I'm never surprised with some of the stuff you'll say. But here on this platform, you will get challenged. The second you say it, you're going to get challenged. If I disagree with it or I think it's a crazy statement, you're going to get challenged right away. I'm not going to wait till you're off the air or behind your back or any of that shit. No. I'll tell you right to your face. So you cannot write about the cap and the drama of it when you've been preaching for years that it didn't matter. Can't do that, bro. You can't do that. So you need to go out to your readers first and say, for years I said the cap never mattered and that it's funny money and whatever. Well, I was wrong. The cap matters and here is why. And explain. That's what you need to do, first and foremost. You just can't waffle, bro, because he would do that here, and I would get him in the waffling, and I'd point it right out to him. You just said this last week, and now you're saying this week. Because remember, his memory is not very good. But it's funny how he makes the cap dramatic, and then for a while it was like, it doesn't matter. It's a joke. It's not real. So we need those sound bites. Let's get those caps. Not since he's writing about all of that, we need to post it all over social media from some of our interviews that the cap doesn't matter. We need to post those to have some fun. Jim says, Dolphins need to revamp their press corps passes to allow only reporters and not opinion creators. Marcel Louis-Jacques and Cam Wolf are the best of the bunch. You have both on your shows. They do a great job. All our guys do. So does Furones. Poupart does an excellent job. Omar does a good job, dude. I just disagree with some things that Omar says. You know what I mean? And I catch him on his waffling, on his flip-flopping that he does. People prefer chaos, destruction over heartwarming and positive. Yep. They love it. They hate heartwarming and positive. The only place I can stand to listen to Omar is on your show with Poupart, cuz Alan shuts him down with facts, but Poupart is too negative. Ray says, go Fins. Howdy-o. How about the latest Ashoka episode? So good. It was very good. I thought, I'm not going to say anything. I should not say anything. I almost screwed up there. But it was good. It was good. Really enjoying it. I think the NFL screwed up only send Finn's Chargers game to 15% of the country. Most everyone's getting Philly and New England. Northeast, bro. You know, the whole New England shit is still around, even though they're dog crap. And Philly is a Super Bowl contender. I get it. And you know what? I got to tell you something, One-Eyed Jack. I don't care. I don't care if the rest of the country doesn't get it. That's the TV company's problem, and that's everybody else that misses out. I only give a shit that the Dolphin fan watches it. That's it. So hopefully the Dolphin fan has the red zone. I mean, listen, if you don't live in Miami and you're a Dolphins fan, or if you don't live in Dallas and you're a Cowboys fan, or if you're a Giants fan and you don't live in New York, I mean, you got to buy the NFL ticket, bro. It's the way it goes. Or you got to be at a bar where they're going to put the game for you, and you go with some friends and watch the game. That's what a real fan does. So you'll find a way to watch the game. Watching the game last night, Gordon says, only reinforces what we've said about Tua needing help and weapons. Mahomes played a great game, but his wide receivers were not separating, breaking tackles, and dropping balls. It's really one guy, bro. If Kadarius Toney does his job, they win the game. Proudly professing being a glass half empty type of person is not a ringing endorsement for himself. I run from negativity. My bet is CBS won't share the celebration outside the New England area. When do owners discuss the salary cap? Every offseason or so? Yeah. At this point, you're not really worried about the cap. And especially, you're not worried about next year's cap. You worry about next year's cap when you get to next year. Right now, you build a team at this moment to try to win. And that's what they're doing, and that's what they've done. And now it's up to Mike McDaniel, dude. The rest is bullshit. Don't care about the rest. Go out and win. You got a team. Go out and win. In fact, not just go out and win, Mike McDaniel, okay? It's week 1 against a team that kicked your ass in coaching. So Mike McDaniel should have red ass all off season, because he should be that mother effer. Brandon Staley made me look like an idiot last year. Okay, I'm gonna counter now with this mofo, right? Because that's what I want to see. I need to see Mike McDaniel out-coach Brandon Staley like Brandon Staley out-coached his ass. Because the job of the coach is to put his players in positions to win. He failed last year. So this ain't about the cap next year. And, right now Mike McDaniel ain't thinking about no stupid-ass cap next year. He ain't thinking about somebody's salary. He needs to be thinking about, how am I going to out-scheme that mother effer Brandon Staley, who made me look like an idiot last year? Okay? That's what this game is all about. This game is about Mike McDaniel and then a little bit of Tua, right? Because Tua has to say, yo, Mike, we got to have a better game plan here because I look like shit. Because Tua played like shit. But on Tua's behalf, you got to adjust a little bit too, my brother. Sometimes the play that they call is not there, and now you got to ad-lib. Find a way to ad-lib a little better in those kind of situations. I'm not going to blame it all on Tua. I blame most of it on McDaniel because he did not counter. And to me, that was a really bad sign on his part. So you better counter. This ain't about game 2, game 3, game 8. This ain't about the playoffs. This ain't about next year. This ain't about the cap. This is about week 1 against the Chargers. Show me, O-line, you can block. Mike McDaniel, show me you can out-coach Brandon Staley. Tua, you need to play much better. Defense, you did a pretty good job of actually limiting Herbert in points. Now you got to do a better job of limiting him in yards and plays because he did move the ball a lot. Did not end up scoring a lot. Ended up settling for a lot of field goals, if I remember correctly. What was that? What was the stats of that game? If I remember correctly, he might have only thrown like a touchdown or 2. I don't think he did a lot, if I remember correctly. But that's what this game is all about. This game is about responding, dude. Responding to what happened last year. This ain't about no cap and none of that bullshit. None of that matters right now. That's not what this season is all about. This is what I like about this situation that we're in right now. This immediately we are going to find out about Mike McDaniel. Immediately we're going to find out, okay, a year later, how do you respond to the way things went? What happened? Team USA lost to Germany? In the World Cup? Wow. Who the hell's in Germany? Wow. Because Nowitzki's not, isn't Nowitzki German? He used to be there. Who's there? Oh no, he's not German. No, yeah, he is German. He is German, isn't he? Who the hell's in Germany? I don't remember any German players now. Wow. That's yes. See, that's why Spo needs to coach. That's bad. Schroeder and Wagner? Really? That's it? Schroeder with the little golden hair and Wagner, the guy from the Washington Wizards? That's garbage. That's nothing, dude. You're not supposed to lose to that. That's terrible, man. What happened? Talk to me. Oh, okay, because I was about to pull it up myself.
All right. So he was 39 of 51.
Right.
367 yards, 7.2 pass attempt, 1 touchdown.
Right, 1, see?
4 sacks.
Yep.
Sacked 4 times.
Yeah, one touchdown.
102.3 rating.
You know, I get it. He threw for a boatload of yards, but you know, he didn't finish drives. And they did a marvelous. They lost by 6 points, dude. And they were and they, you know, they were stifled on offense. Tua played terrible, right? He threw one touchdown, no interceptions. Well, he didn't throw an interception. How come I kind of imagined that he threw an interception in that game because they were so stifled. 10 of 28, 145 yards. No, he played like shit in that game. Played like shit in that game. They played like shit. But again, this is what I tell everybody. You know, you pick on Josh Boyer, right? The guy threw 400 and something, 367 yards, and he only threw one touchdown, and you lost by 6 points. You know, the offense did nothing in that game. What more do you want from the defense? They were bending, but they didn't break. So you got to play better this year against Justin Herbert. You better turn his ass over. The Wagner brothers in the Orlando Magic are really good. No, they're not. No, they're not. Come on, bro. They're all right. They're nothing special. You know, it's Spo. You need to have Spo coaching, not Steve Kerr. Wow, that sucks, dude. Karoon says Franz and Mo are really good. Trust me, as a Magic fan, they're good, especially Franz. Franz Ferdinand is good. Okay? Franz Ferdinand. The other Franz, they're no. They're not good enough to beat the USA. Okay? So this is Steve Kerr. You never get to coach the USA basketball team again. That's what this should be. Okay? You know the shit we did to John Thompson years ago when his was it Bradley whatever? What was the name of it? Sean Brad? No, not Sean Bradley. No, not Sean Bradley. It was the other whatever. All those guys that ended up losing that and then they booted Thompson off the USA basketball. Same shit. Steve Kerr needs to get his ass booted off that team for losing a sorry ass Germany. Give me a break, dude. Yeah, exactly, Super Boom Shack. The only Franz is Hans, and I'm Franz, and we're here to pump you up. That's the only Franz that counts. There we go. Sorry, need the fuel. Throat was already feeling dry. Oh, we've been talking for 45 straight minutes. So it kind of does that to you. When you actually really work for a living. What? John Thompson cut Steve Kerr? Well, guess what? Years later, we need to cut Steve Kerr. Can John Thompson come out? He's still with us, right? I'm not. Really? We lost Big John Thompson? We did? God, I forgot about that. We did? We lost Big John Thompson? 2020? Oh, shit. All right. Can we resurrect him from the dead just to come back to fire Kerr? What was that? Oh, yeah. He's part of the board of directors? Okay, so in honor of his dad, he needs to go fire Steve Kerr for me. Since, Thompson cut Kerr back as a player, now the son needs to fire him as a coach. Anybody got a problem with that? Huh? You got a problem with that? I doubt it. I doubt you all have a problem with that. By the way, we are here at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. And folks, you want to come on out here because they're going to make you a great deal right now. We've got a large selection of brand new vehicles, so you can come on out here and pick the color you want, the car you want, the style you want, the model you want, but more importantly, the price you want. Also, I'm looking right now at a fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles. They look like they're brand new. Have you seen the new Integra? That thing is just out of control. That thing is beautiful. If you're looking for a beautiful car, the new Integra is out of control. So come on out here, 15601 Pines Boulevard. And if you happen to own or lease an Acura, come see Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber. They know how to get it done. Good people out here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
The Open Cup final, confirmed time now.
Oh, yeah, 27th. What is it? 7:30.
8:30 p.m. Wednesday, September 27th, of course, at Dry Pink Stadium, taking on Houston.
Okay. All right, Houston's an hour behind, so yeah, 8:30, so it's 7:30 for them. I get it. And you get a little bit more of the prime time, so you push it a little later to 8:30. Plus, soccer's fast, dude. It's 2 hours, and you're done. It's, it's just, unless there's a golden goal. By the way, how do they settle the U.S. Open Cup? Can you tell me how they settle the U.S. Open Cup finals? Does it get to a shootout, or do they go to an overtime shootout or golden goal, or what's the deal? How do they settle the U.S. Open Cup? Our season here for Miami will be glorious and incredibly successful if you win the Leagues Cup and the U.S. Open Cup. But if you also make the playoffs, it might be one of the great sports seasons of all time in South Florida. Outside of ones that end in a championship, this is going to be one of the great the other ones are titles too, but those are cups. If you win the MLS Cup, oh my God, that really just becomes one of the great feats of all time for sure in South Florida sports history. I mean, it's crazy, man. It really is. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I know I am, as you can tell, I am decked out with my Inter, So we'll have our Dolphins on Sunday, but I figured I would have a little Inter leading into tomorrow's game, since everything is, they are playing the most important game of the weekend. Yes.
So they play 30 minutes of extra time.
Okay.
And if the score's still level after extra time, then it goes to penalty shootout.
Okay. So just like it did in what was the game? Nashville, right? Nashville, we went into the overtime, and then we went into the penalty kicks. CM Punk fired Frankie. That's what Karen Joseph says. Watch Inter or University of Miami. Well, wait a minute. Aren't they at different No, dude, they're at different times. Yeah, Miami's at 3:30 and Inter's at 7:30, my man. You get to see both. You don't miss any. I got a full day, bro. I'm gonna go to the auto show. I think I am. Because I'm going tonight, actually. I'm going today. I'm going this afternoon. I'm gonna go to the auto show. I was gonna go tomorrow early and then come back, see the Canes game, see Inter. But no, that's right. We decided that we're going to go right when she gets out of work. We're going to go over to the auto show today. I haven't been to the auto. Have you been to the auto show in years, or what's the deal? You haven't been there in a long time? Me too. I haven't been there in a long time, but it was like, I told my wife, I want to start going again, like every year. And so I said, we're going this year. So today I'm going to go to the auto show, have some fun, walk around, check out the cars. Always been kind of a car fan. So it's kind of a cool thing. Let's see what else. 86 likes, 200. Yeah, man. We got 226 watching. Give us a like, man. Come on. Let's go. That helps get the algorithms going, gets more people watching. You got 91 for 220. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Give us a like. Give us a like. Let's go. Let's go. 91. I want to see it. I want to see that ticker go. Go. Move. Move. Move some. Move some. Give Sean a little love. Hit that like bell right there, man. And hit the notification bell too. On top of all of that. 220. Let's go. 103. Come on. Come on. Come on. Is dry pink an analogy for menopause? Yeah, I know, but he's trying to play on words with drive pink and dry pink.
He's trying to be funny. C. Dola wasn't really funny, bro. Just so you know. Remember, boys, if you're about to get laid, let it play. Lower the volume. You don't want me talking while you're trying to get laid. That's there. It's not very romantic. You know what I'm saying? Just let it play and
put on the Omar salary cap talk.
Exactly. There you go. Omar salary cap doesn't matter talk. I want to see who's the first person that finds a soundbite from Omar from last year. Him because he said it at least 50 times. So it's all over. It's all over. 112 for 223. Not bad. Those of you that hit, thank you very much. That was very cool. But there's easily over 100 of you that have not hit the like button. And I guess you're telling me we're not worthy of your like, unfortunately. And that's sad. Got to hit the like. Great analogy on all sports. Truly appreciate you, Big O. Thank you, sir. That is very kind of you. This weekend is going to be awesome. Inter game, game, Marlins play Philadelphia, big series, and Dolphins. What a weekend. I know. It is an awesome, awesome weekend, man. And even the Marlins still in the playoff race, which I never expected them to be at this point. It is magical for them to still be in the playoff race, man. It's pretty freaking cool. You know, even though you and I know that they probably won't win anything in the playoffs, but for them to make the playoffs is, I mean, Schumacher should be given a little consideration. Not that he's going to win it, but I give him some manager of the year consideration. He has kept those kids in it all the way through. I got nothing but respect for him, to be quite honest. I just wish the ownership group can do a little bit more commitment for him, because in the end, you've got to commit this, man. If you don't commit that, it's just not going to happen for you. So no Teron Armstead in this game, right? It looks like that's what's going to end up happening. Teron Armstead has not practiced all week, and I got to tell you, I really thought that he would be able to, because he's been able to do it in the past. But then again, you've got a whole season in front of you. You're thinking, okay, Kendall Lamb's going to face Khalil Mack, really, because Boza lines up he's on the left end, which the right tackle, and that's going to be Austin Jackson. I don't think they switch him around much. I think Nick does sometimes with San Francisco. I think they put him on left and right sometimes. But I think with Joey, I think he stays there.
Yeah, unless Khalil comes out or somebody like that. I think that's the only time they switch him around, if Khalil's out.
Maybe, and I'm not sure. I'm not even sure with Joey. I think with Nick, they do alternate him and move him around from right to left. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe somebody can correct me. But more often than not, it's going to be Khalil Mack facing Kendall Lamb. And let's be honest now, he's not facing Khalil Mack of 3 years ago and 5 years ago with the Raiders and all that. So he's not the same ferocious pass rusher that he was. He's still a good player. You know, get me his sack totals from last year. I'm sorry about that, but get me his sack totals. I don't think he had like big sack numbers last year. Huh? But, you know, Boza is the guy that obviously you fear. You know what I mean? And so Austin Jackson's challenge is going to be a bitch. But I am going to say Kendall Lamb has looked good. Now it's been preseason. So now we're going to find out with the big boys what's going to happen. And the strange part about all of this, okay, here's where Frank Smith and Mike McDaniel are kind of like they're like the USS Enterprise in Star Trek, that they're going where no man has gone before. And right now they're going where no Dolphin coach has gone before, because you don't know still if Austin Jackson can play on a consistent basis. You certainly don't know if Kendall Lamb can play on a consistent basis, no matter how well he's played throughout training camp and the preseason, which he has been fantastic, by the way. I mean, that's the only word to describe Kendall Lamb. He's done a really good job. And you just wonder if 8 sacks, see? Yeah, like he wasn't a monster.
And he's played 4 games against the Dolphins, no sacks.
Okay, so, and Kendall's looked good. So maybe after 4 years in the league and bounced around, maybe the light is coming on for Kendall. Who knows? We'll see. But here's the problem with when you're coaching. And you're Mike McDaniel, and you're Frank Smith, and you're Butchberry, right? Butchberry. You have no idea who needs the extra help. You don't know. So, and you're the fullback. Is it Kendall? Is it Austin? Is it Kendall? Is it Austin? So now and if you're Tua, okay, as the game goes on, you're going to start sensing, okay, I'm getting more pressure from the left or the right side. You don't know that either. You don't know it. I don't know it. We don't know maybe it's both sides that cave in. Oh my God. Maybe both sides do a great job of blocking it out and keeping the pocket clean for Tua. We don't know. The only thing we would know is if Teron Armstead's playing, okay, now we focus on the right side. That would make our lives easy. Butch Berry's life easy, Frank Smith's life easy, Mike McDaniel's life easy, your life easy, Tua's life easy. Everybody would, okay, Teron's there. Okay, left side's fine. Khalil Mack's going to get swallowed up by Teron more often than not. We won't have to worry. It's about Austin Jackson now. Can you stay in front of Boza? Okay, here we go. Alec Ingold, chip block. Tight end, chip block. Let's help out Austin. Getting into Sunday, we don't know how things are going to develop. We just don't. Now, I'll tell you this. I have a strange feeling that Kendall Lamb, if he plays, is actually going to do a solid job against Khalil Mack. I don't know why. I have nothing to base that on. I can't go off of his history. I can only go by what I've watched the entire training camp and preseason. I've seen a guy that has been calm, cool, and collective 95% of the time. Rarely making mistakes. And sometimes you just got to give people credit when and this is beginning to end. This wasn't like Austin's had some up and downs in the preseason and training camp. This guy's been like this the entire time. So I got to give Kendall some credit here. And in a twisted way, I don't know why, just a gut feeling that Kendall's going to be able to defend himself pretty well this week. It just, I have this feeling like he's just in the right mindset and seems like he's comfortable. He's super motivated to prove to people. And so now the question for me is more on the right. And plus, he's also facing the ultimate werewolf in Boza. But going to be a lot of fun, man. Going to be a lot of fun. Cam Wolf there yet? Send him a reminder. And let's take a quick break here. 1 hour down. We got a couple more to go. We're coming to you live from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Come on out here and see us, man. We'll be out here for a couple more hours. 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. We're up to 226 watching and 125 with the thumb. We're over 100 of you have not hit that like button. You don't like us? You don't have any love for us? Show us some love as we go to hour number 2.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 60 For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
Right, there he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. Except for Teron Armstead, right? He's not ready to go.
We will find out officially from Mike McDaniel in probably a little less than an hour, but
you won't. No, you won't. Shit.
You think it's going to be we'll see?
He's going to give you the same bullshit he gives all of us. I'm not going to count Teron Armstead out. He's been working as hard as possible to make it back. I wouldn't put it past him to be there on Sunday.
Well, I will say that's certainly possible, but if they are going to rule him out, that they could possibly do that. They say, hey, we want to give him another week. I could see him announcing that. What I will say is I know the team has been prepping as if he won't play. They've been prepping Kendall Lamb to start Sunday versus the Chargers, and that's their plan and their expectation, and they're willing to be surprised. If Teron surprises them, cool, but I'd say more likely than not, the team is thinking that they're going to play without him. And so that's a big deal. You got Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. None of those dudes are going to feel sorry for you. No. And so you got those two dudes versus Kendall Lamb and Austin Jackson. Even the biggest.
I have this strange feeling, Cam.
Yeah.
Really strange feeling that from what I've seen from Kendall Lamb, and dude, I have nothing to base this on whatsoever because he has no history to give me this.
Mm-hmm.
I get a feeling that this is a guy that is about to turn his corner. He has played with confidence. He has been probably one of the most consistent offensive linemen the entire training camp and the entire preseason.
Right.
I don't know why.
You think he's going to shut down Joey Bosa?
No, he's going to face Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Bosa is going to be on the other side with Jackson.
So you think he's going to shut down Khalil Mack?
Yeah, I think he's going to do a good job against Khalil Mack. I'm not going to tell you shut down, but I think when the game is done, you're going to go, dude, Kendall Lamb did a good job against Khalil Mack. That's what I think you're going to say, because am I wrong here? Was he the guy? Wasn't he like maybe the most consistent lineman out of everybody?
Robert Hunt was pretty solid in camp.
He had actually Robert Hunt had some moments that were pretty bad.
You're right. I mean, nobody was perfect in camp. But I would probably say I would probably have Robert Hunt maybe a little ahead of Lamb, because Lamb did have a rough couple of days towards the end when he started to play Bradley Chubb more, when he started to play some of the guys, the good on good. I think you saw a little bit of the cracks, particularly that last week or two. But Lamb did answer the question, the big question that I had going into camp is, who's your swing tackle? What's your depth at that position? I think it was not even close. I think it was very clear that Lamb was far and away the best option. Now, the thing about a swing tackle, when you start them, the issues are magnified, whatever their issue is. And I don't know enough about Kendall Lamb's game yet to tell you he struggles in this particular area. You know, when he faces power rushers or speed rushers, we're going to find some of that. But when you have backups play, even if they're good backups, and I think Kendall Lamb's a good backup, that's typically when you get exposed. So I'm not going to have the confidence that you have and say that
I don't know why
Lamb is going to shut down Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't have that confidence. Now, what I will say,
I worry about the other side.
Mike McDaniel's a smart coach, and I think that he knows, like we know, no matter what he says publicly, if he's going into Sunday with Kendall Lamb and Austin Jackson, he as a coach has to do his job to help those two tackles out. You can't have those dudes on ISO against Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack and think you're going to be okay. And so I'd expect a lot of your tight ends in helping most of the game. I'd expect them to run a lot more of those quicker. They're already going to be a quick base offense, but quick pass to say Tua, hey, you're going to have to get it out. And then you're going to have a hot on almost every route, you know, whether it's the running back, whether you're having Braxton Berrios, or whether it's Tyreek or Waddle, you're going to have somebody short at all times as a bailout route. So that's a scheme thing. That's a coach thing. And obviously a quarterback thing to help your offensive lineman, knowing that they're at a matchup disadvantage on paper against their two players.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a cool thing. I was watching some of the highlights of their defense. They don't really, at least it seems like they don't really switch those guys around as much. They kind of stay on their sides more often than not. Max stays on one side, Bosa stays on the other. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, last year, you know, we were just looking at the stats. Last year, they moved the ball a lot. They didn't score. And so, you know, as beat up as that defense was in the secondary and all that stuff, they were still able to keep them out of the end zone. And they only lost by 6 points in that game. How much do you feel better about this defense when it's pretty damn healthy outside of Ramsey? But you didn't have Ramsey last year either. And now you have Kohu in the mix with Eli, at least on the outside, and no, I'm sorry, Cam on the outside and Kohu, you know, inside. You're probably better off this year than you were last year.
Well, two things there. One, the Chargers typically run a conservative defense where they play bend up but don't break. That's the Staley style. We want to get pressure on you. We're not going to give you long, deep ball touchdowns. And we're going to get a lot of pressure with our defensive front. So that's going to be the core of their defense. And then they'll try to trick you. They'll try to get the big splash plays, the turnovers on their end, and the sack fumbles. I actually think that you'll see Eli Apple starting on Sunday. We'll see for sure, but I think that you'll see Eli Apple starting when they go into 3 wide. I do think you're going to see some Cater playing outside. I know we assume that he's going to be the slot guy, and I think he will be when they're in 3 wide, but I do think
he's their best slot guy.
If they are playing 2 corners, which I don't know how many % of the game they're going to play, it's just 2 corners. But if they do the base formation, quote unquote, I think it'll be Cater on the outside and X on the end, and then they'll have Cater essentially going inside and bringing in Eli. I think Cam Smith, at least early in the season, will be their fourth guy. I think he's got to get a little bit more comfort, a little bit more reps, a little bit more trust on Vic Fangio's side of things. But I think eventually his talent will take over and he'll be able to earn that job, just not week one. But the big question I have about this defense is not their front end, it's their depth. You know, they're very thin in a lot of spots, and so they cannot afford a lot of injuries. And so particularly that secondary, those guys we just mentioned, Eli Apple, Cam Smith, your third and fourth corners are going to have to play a bunch. Are they ready for going to be picked on? Like teams watched X and Cater last year. They're going to pick on the other dude. They're going to pick on Eli Apple. They're going to pick on Cam Smith. And so who the guys are their target? Are they ready? And then that second safety, we know Javon Holland's going to start. We don't know for sure who that second safety is going to be. Like Brandon Jones has been getting a lot of reps there. I can't imagine that he's ready for a full workload yet, but they have been talking and prepping him as if he's going to be a big part of this from week one. Rome McKinley, who has that relationship with Javon Holland, he's been getting a lot of reps. And so I think early on, we were thinking it's going to be Elijah Campbell, and maybe it will be when he's back from injury, and Deshaun Elliott, who has been the quote-unquote healthy guy there. But we've been seeing a lot more of Brandon Jones and Rome McKinley. And so I think you'll see more of a rotation. Can either of those guys separate themselves and be that guy? To me, those are the questions that I think the Chargers will try to exploit, because that front seven, I don't have many questions about them having a lot of success.
Yeah. Well, I think that this defense has got more pass rushers. You got a better defensive coordinator. You got a better linebacker in the middle with David Long, and you're healthier in the secondary than you were last year. I really like this defense going into this game, and you did a pretty good job last year. They were great between the 10s, let's just say, or 20s. But you kept them out of the end zone, and if you come up with a slightly better performance, I think you'll have a chance to win, because remember, offensively, they did nothing last year.
Yes.
And that's going to be the test. Is Mike McDaniel, can you counter now? Because, you know, you did bad last year. You got thoroughly out-coached last year by Staley on defense. You need to answer back this year. Big time.
By the way, McDaniel, you can tell, is hyped up for this game.
For sure.
He will tell you that it's no excuse me. He will tell you that it's no different than any other game. And I'm sure he'll tell you today. But like, I asked him a question on Wednesday, and somebody asked him a question on Monday about the Chargers game last year. And the way he answered those questions, and even just like his vibe, was completely different than the rest. Just any type of insinuation that you were out coached or Brandon Staley out schemed you. You know, you can tell that's something that bothers him. And when I asked him about it, he pointed to, you know, it was just a lack of execution. And, you know, we had some turnovers and turnover differential. And there was not a you know, we got out, you know, they out schemed me. And maybe he really doesn't think that. But I think that's probably a sticking point there. You don't, as a coach, as a Mike McDaniel, you don't want to get the perception out there that you're getting out coached or somebody's figured out, quote unquote, how to stop your offense. So I'm sure he's been cooking some things to offset those elements. Like I asked him specifically about the Chargers plan to press, which they did a lot last year, and then play the inside breaking routes. They essentially challenged the Tyreek and Waddle in ways that teams typically are afraid to do because of their speed and getting burnt. But the Chargers pressed and they played inside, and that's how they had a lot of success. And so I asked him about that, and he essentially was like, they came ready to play, insinuating his guys didn't. Maybe he's right, but maybe truly he knows he has to change some things scheme-wise. That being said, the Chargers are going to change some things too. I'm sure they saw some elements that they want to continue to exploit or change, so it's not going to be the same group. And on the other side, we were just talking about the big change for the Chargers. They have a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. This guy's supposed to be more aggressive for Justin Herbert, allowing him to throw the ball down the field a lot more. So that's why I'm eager to see how those secondary guys hold up, because I think they're going to get tested.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we'll see once he puts them in those pressure positions.
Yeah.
We'll see how Justin responds in those pressure positions.
Yep.
Yeah, baby. Giving up, what was it, a 27-point lead last year?
Yeah, I was there. 27-point playoff comeback by Trevor Lawrence over Justin Herbert and the Chargers. So that was that's the last time we saw them. And so
a major choke job. Major choke job.
Yeah, I'm sure they've talked all off season about that. So
yeah, baby. Yeah.
The defense certainly gave it up, but the offense was very conservative and complacent and didn't do anything in the second half to extend their lead. And so
he was a check down Charlie in that game, dude. He was a check down Charlie in that game. He kept going underneath. It's like, yo, bro, are you watching what's going on the other side of the field? Like they're catching up on your ass. And you're not putting anything up. So yeah, that's that'll be the interesting part in that one. We're expecting the run game to become a bigger part of the offense this year, correct?
Absolutely. They're going to run the ball more. The key for McDaniel, he's got to stay committed to it. Like if teams know, hey, if we stop the Dolphins in the first drive or two, if we sell out for the run on the first drive or two, McDaniel's going to give up on it. He's going to give up on the game. If that's a knock, then guess what teams are going to do? We can make you one-dimensional just by stopping you in the first drive or two.
Right.
Then we're going to spend some extra resources. So McDaniel has to be true to his word and come back to it. I don't know. Maybe this is my crazy take, because your crazy take is that that Kendall Lamb, if he plays on Sunday, is going to shut down.
It's weird.
My crazy take is that Raheem Mostert is going to have not only a heck of a game this week, but a heck of a season. I think that too many people.
That's not a crazy take.
I think too many people.
My take is crazy. Yours.
No, I'm talking about like staying healthy for 17 games, setting career highs in all categories, and becoming the clear lead back in Miami. I think there's still, at least from a national perspective, maybe not locally, but maybe some locally, there's a thought of the Dolphins don't have a true running back. That's why they tried to get all these backs, and they just have a conglomerate of guys, and they hope one of these dudes finds a way, whether it's Raheem or A-Chain or Wilson when he's healthy, or Chris Brooks or Ahmed. They just hope that one of these dudes or some combination of these five dudes can do that. And yes, they do have a combination, but I think that Raheem Mostert is going to be the clear guy, like the clear number one back, and he's going to have a great season that represents it. And so I think that's going to start on Sunday. So I think that, just keep an eye on Raheem Mostert. I know he hasn't had a history of staying healthy. He's 31 years old. That's why I say I think it may be a hot take, because it's not the ideal person to bet on, given his history, injury-wise in particular. But, something about my feel of him this offseason, I think this is the year he finally stays healthy and he does it for a whole full workload size.
I don't think it's that crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
I really don't. Mine is crazy. There's no doubt mine is crazy.
That is.
I have nothing to base this on.
I don't think it's crazy that they can scheme it so that Khalil Mack doesn't take over the game, or that Joe Bozo can't take over the game. But I think it is maybe crazy that Kendall Lamb would be the main, alone would be shutting him down or slowing him down immensely. That would be quite a feat. That would be quite a feat for Kendall Lamb.
I just kind of feel that it looks like he's finding his way as a player. I think he's finding his identity as a professional. And this might be his first year, because he's had a rough 4 years. He's bounced around.
Yep.
Is this like his third or fourth team or something?
It's at least his third. I'm not sure how many.
Yeah, right?
At least his third.
Yeah, if I remember, he's been on several teams in a very short time.
Yeah.
He's been only on teams for 1 year. And so
he's 31 years old. And he started in 2015. He's an undrafted free agent. And he's played on he was in the Lions offseason, but he didn't make the team. So this will be his fourth team that he's actually played a game on.
Okay, so he's actually been around for a couple of years in some places.
Yeah. He started in Houston, 4 years in Houston, 2 years in Cleveland, 1 in Tennessee, and then the last 2 years in Miami.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because last year, right, he was here. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right. They picked him up.
But one more thing about the run game, and I whether I'm right about Raheem or not, the Chargers, and they've done a lot to try to improve this offseason, were one of the worst rush defenses in football.
Yeah.
And remember, that was one of the few things that went right for them in the Chargers game. They had some success running the ball. The Chargers gave up more yards per carry to running backs than any team in football last year. Any team. And so I think that's going to be a big part of this diet. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of Tyreek and Waddle, but I think this run game is going to be a way for them to maybe offset some of the scheme elements that the the Chargers play up. They want to play super aggressive. We're going to get the run game flowing, and then maybe we can get a little play action in RPO game that can confuse them and get them to make some wrong choices.
Tua had 3 rushes for 28 yards.
Yeah, you know what's the take of mine? I do not think Tua will have 3 rushes for 28 yards this week. I think he will be staying in the pocket, but
I could see him run once for like a first down, a 5-7 yarder or something, a nice slide, and that's about it. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be running for 38 yards.
Yeah, you're going to hear the yell.
28 yards. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's not going to be running much in this game. I would agree with you. He'll be handing off a lot, and he'll be passing a lot. But yeah, I don't think he'll be doing a lot of running. What's your prediction for this game? Chargers are favored by 3 at home, so Vegas looks at it like pretty even because that's what you get. You get 3 points for being at home.
This is going to be an interesting one, man, because I could definitely see the Dolphins losing it. And if they do lose it, I would suggest fans not overreact because I think it's a long season. But I do think the Chargers have some, it's never going to happen. Week 1, you lose, everything's going wrong, panic. You know how it's going to work, right? But I do
telling them not to overreact is not going to help. It's not going to get anywhere, bro. They're going to overreact big time.
I do think that I'm a little concerned about, like I mentioned, the defensive depth and the defensive secondary, especially early on in the season. And so that would be my concern. And if the Chargers do win on Sunday, I'd imagine it's because the defense is not fully Vic Fangio loaded yet. Everybody doesn't have it fully yet in game mode. And Justin Herbert has a brilliant day. So that would be my go there.
By the way, stats for this season right now, things aren't going well for Pat Mahomes. He's got the worst record in the league. He's got the most interceptions in the NFL. He's got more incompletions than any QB in the NFL right now. He's averaging a pick 6 per game, and he's never beaten Jared Goff. I mean, the season's been pretty bad for Pat Mahomes.
Yeah,
I got to tell you. And let me tell you, if Kadarius Toney, I used to call him Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. Well, we could call him Kildarius Toney or Kadarius Tony Kill, however it is, but that guy single-handedly lost that game yesterday. All by himself, he lost that game. Detroit didn't win that game. Mahomes didn't lose that game. Andy Reid didn't lose. They didn't lose because they didn't have Travis Kelce. They didn't lose because they didn't have Chris Jones. They lost because they had Kadarius Toney on their team.
So that might have been one of the worst games I've ever seen a wide receiver play.
Right.
And it's funny because I missed it because I was going to get pizza. We had some folks over at the crib yesterday. But apparently in pregame, Jason Garrett said something about Kadarius Toney being one of the greatest receivers of all time, and he just hadn't got the opportunity. I have to get the exact quote, but I was told this by a buddy who was over yesterday. And
he's super talented. He is super
and he proceeded to just play awful. And the whole offseason, it's been a mantra, and I agree with it because I think Patrick Mahomes is incredible. But it's like, it doesn't matter who Patrick Mahomes as a receiver because he's Patrick Mahomes. He'll figure it out, right? That's the
damn ball, bro.
And he almost did. There was a 4th and 25 where literally he hits the Duke right in the hand for 27 yards and he drops it. And it showed that even Patrick Mahomes needs relatively competent receivers. Doesn't need to be Tyreek Hill. But dudes who at least can get open and catch the ball, I felt bad for it. I said 3 times during the game, just a waste of talent. Just a waste of talent. Disappointed. I feel Pat because Pat's such a good leader. He knows when he comes to the sideline, he's got to have great facial expressions. He's got to tell them, hey, don't worry, you'll get it next time. But I could just feel the disappointment sometimes when he threw passes where he's got dudes hanging on his legs and he's throwing a 30-yard pass and it's hits him right in the hands and he drops it. And I just feel him like, no, why did you let me down? And so that is certainly a concern. This is a team that I'd imagine if it continues like this, they will be very active at the trade deadline and trying to find a guy for Pat.
Cedric Wilson, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
Dolphins.
Think about it. Think about this, dude. He's missing Mecole Hardman. Guys just like that.
Yeah.
The simple guys that were surrounding Tyreek, they're not even there anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And those guys would have made a huge difference. You know, Sky Moore played well last year. Last night he screwed it up also.
He really did.
Yeah, it's just
Darius Tony, Sky Moore, Justin Ross is not playing. I wanted to see more of him. Justin Watson had a few nice catches. Maybe he ends up being the guy that he trusts, but it's a bunch of young dudes. And the idea is somebody has to step up. Somebody says, you know what? There's no Tyreek Hill. There's no Travis Kelce. I'm going to be the guy. And nobody was the guy. Nobody, like the moment was too big for all of them.
Right.
And so that's a major concern for me because I thought, especially Sky Moore had got rave reviews this offseason.
Yeah, dude.
And that's why I'm a little careful on like the preseason stock because I didn't visit Kansas City, but I was reading a lot of the beat reporters, reading a lot of the notes and nuggets, and it was like Sky Moore's ready. Year 2, he's a different receiver. He's got a different connection. He knows the offense. He's gonna play every snap, and you can play every snap, but if you don't catch the ball, if you don't run the right routes, then Pat's not gonna throw you the ball. And so I think Sky Moore had like 4 targets, no catches. He had 1 carry in the backfield. Kadarius Toney probably had just as many drops. It's rough. It's rough. So they get Travis Kelce back eventually, and they're the Chiefs. They'll be fine. They're still gonna be a playoff team, but there's clearly a huge flaw there with the Chiefs that's a group that's downgraded. That was already a group that was a weakness, but they've downgraded. Last year, at least they had Juju, who was there and give them some games occasionally. At least they had McCole Hardman when he was healthy. And so those 2 guys leave, and it does not seem like any of the new guys have been ready to replace them.
And you mentioned Juju, and bro, the Patriots, like, they don't know how to draft receivers or sign receivers. That story that came out of New England now, that Juju's knee's about to like explode or some shit like that, and they gave him like a 3-year, $25 million deal, and like $17 million guaranteed or some crap like that.
Yeah,
and they're tied to that contract now. Oh my God, dude, that's a mess. But on the Chiefs side, it gets to a point for Kadarius Toney, and I think this is the year. Either you shit or get off the pot, bro.
Right?
Because you were a failure for the Giants, and you've had a lot of injury history, and now you're going to also do this shit too. That's why I just kind of think that it's not a good situation. For Kadarius. He better wake up quickly, bro.
Yeah.
Quickly, because Marino would have never given him that many chances in one game.
Right. Yeah.
Marino would have said, "Get the hell out of here. I'm not throwing to you." He would have told
Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning either. Like, these are dudes that, and I get Pat's a nice guy. And the other part of it is you probably didn't have a lot of options.
He needed him. Right.
He need these dudes throughout the season. But eventually you make those many mistakes, even the nicest dude is going to say, "Hey, coach, I can't play with him in there. I can't trust him. He's burning opportunities. Give me somebody else. Somebody else." Like, sooner or later, that's going to be the answer. And it's just week 1, so they got a chance. But if this happens week 2, week 3, I bet you by the end of the month, Pat is whether publicly or privately telling them, get somebody else in there.
Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his work there at the NFL Network. Cam, as always, thank you, my man. We will catch up next week. Enjoy your weekend.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. We unleashed the Wolf Pack.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Let's switch gears. We go from talking Dolphins to talking Miami Hurricanes with the one and only Manny Navarro.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
A hell of a performance last week against a weak sister. Let's see if they can do the same thing this week against a big brother, and that is Texas A&M coming to town. Manny Navarro covers the Canes on a daily basis for The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Manny, are they ready? Because I got to say, I really was proud of Mario last week. That was a competent bunch I saw last week.
Yeah, I think from a health perspective, they're probably in a pretty good spot. The only guy I was sort of worried about was Colby Young, who kind of got hit low on the knee in the first half, setting a wide receiver screen, but he came back and he played in the second half. So I just hope that he's been able to get a full load of practice this week and is ready to go, because I think he's really going to be important to the Hurricanes' efforts on Saturday. They're going to need a guy who can stretch the field and can make big plays in the passing game. I don't think they're going to be just one-dimensional and pound the ball down the throat of Texas A&M all night.
What are we fearing from Texas A&M if you're looking at it from Miami's perspective? On defense, what do you fear from that offense?
Big play receivers. You know, they've got several guys that can really go up and stretch the field. Anais Smith, I think, is one of their guys, slot guy. He's a fifth or sixth year guy who's just highly productive. They got Moose Muhammad, who's another slot guy, and then on the outside you've got Evan Stewart. He's the kid who had that near touchdown catch to beat Alabama last year, and then Noah Thomas, 6'6", 200 pounds, just a freak that goes up and gets the ball, snatches out of the air. He's going to be the toughest guy for Miami to cover. The Hurricanes obviously didn't face a passing attack like that last week against Miami of Ohio. They didn't really have receivers that could make those kind of plays. And if we remember last year, obviously it's different personnel for Miami in this game, different defense. But the Hurricanes gave up 15 pass plays of 40 yards or more last year. And I thought Jaden Davis, Darryl Porter Jr., those guys played well in week one. But again, these are different aliens that they got to line up against on Saturday.
Running game, is that something you fear?
Not necessarily. I mean, they've got a good quartet of running backs, but they've had. I mean, look, they've sent guys to the NFL, right? A-Chain is with the Dolphins now. Before him, I think they had Isaiah Spiller, who's in the NFL now. I think he's with the Chargers. I don't know that this group right now. I mean, they've got a young group. Amari Daniels is a local kid here from South Florida. He's their most sort of consistent back. He's averaging 7.9 yards a carry or whatever this year so far after one game. But, they've got a true freshman in Ruben Owens, who's a former 5-star, Le'Veon Moss, who's a sophomore. They've got talented guys. They're just really, really young. So it's not like there's a proven, badass coming back that you're like, okay, this guy's going to be impossible to stop. So I think they've kind of got a committee approach the same way the Hurricanes do.
All right, good stuff. Don't forget, folks, use our code BIGO10 so you can get 10% off there at Caneswear. And whether you do it online at 25 at Caneswear.com, or if you go there at, 2655, right? 2655 South University Drive, right next to La Spada. Man, I don't know. I feel like getting in the car when I'm done here and going to La Spada and having
God, me too, brother. Me too.
Right? They're so damn good, the subs at La Spada. But anyway, so just in case, use our code BIGO10 so you can get ready for that Texas A&M game. Go get your stuff out there. What are we concerned about on the on the Canes side, offensively, let's say, going into this game?
Well, they lost 2 guys to the NFL in their secondary from a year ago, and their secondary was really, really good. And so they've got some younger guys out there. They also picked up a transfer, Josh DeBerry, from Boston College, who I think looked really, really good in week 1. So to me, it's kind of interesting. I think they're sort of unproven on that side, the same way Miami kind of is. Although I will say their defensive front, those defensive linemen, they're just, so much talent, so many former 5-star guys, 4-star, elite top 100 type guys that are in their, second, third, and fourth year now. And so they expect improvement there. They expect to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. As a run defense, they weren't necessarily great last year, but again, they were so young a year ago when they faced Miami. Now all those guys have sort of grown up. Edrin Cooper's a big linebacker, 6'3", 230, 240-ish. He hits people and he hits them hard. So that's going to be interesting to watch, sort of how do Miami's running backs handle some of the pounding that they're going to take up front, because this is just a bigger defensive line, bigger defensive front in general. But as far as fearing, man, Miami can't beat this team, there's no way. No, I don't feel that way. I think the Hurricanes have a chance. They're just going to need their offensive line to perform really, really well and hold up and play like they did in week 1.
Can they?
I think the possibility's there. I think the left side is probably as secure as you want it to be. Look, Jalen Rivers, right? Some of us have sort of questioned, is he really a left tackle? Is he more of an interior guy? I know the previous coaching staff felt that he was an interior guy, not necessarily a tackle. But, Alex Mirabal and Mario Cristobal swear he can play left tackle. Well, we'll find out this week when Levius Overton and Shamar Turner and some of those huge guys that they've got are rushing the quarterback. Can Jalen stay in front of them? And then on the opposite side, a guy like Francis Mauigoa, second career start, was a freshman. Is a freshman, true freshman. Was a senior at IMG Academy last year. He's right in there. Feet to the fire. So we will see how he handles this kind of a pass rush this week. This will be a huge test.
I know that Miami of Ohio is not like this, great test, but confidence is always key in anything that you do in life. It doesn't matter. Once you have success doing something,
Right.
it just builds. And I just wonder, what is the mentality of the team this week? Because some of the guys that were here, I know there aren't a lot of them left from last year, but the guys that were here from last year to then see the results from this week, those guys alone should be the tone setters of, hey, guys, we're headed in the right direction. You should have seen the shit that was going on the last couple of years. This is completely different. So I'm wondering, success, how much has that fed into what's going on this week for Texas A&M?
Yeah, I think certainly for Miami, you have to feel better about the direction of the program. 41 new players on the team. And a lot of those new guys are already in sort of leadership type roles. Some of them were transfers, right? You've got Matt Lee, you've got Javian Cohen. Those guys have played in huge games before. So they're not going to go into this game scared. Tyler Van Dyke has played in a bunch of big games before. He's not coming into this game scared. Cam Kitchen, same thing. James Williams, same thing. So Miami has enough experience that you can't sit here and say, well, they're so young, there's no way they can win this game, right? I think there's enough experience here of losing and struggling in these type of games for these guys to say, hey, things are going bad. Let's turn the direction here, right? We've been here before. We've experienced this. We've seen things go down the wrong path. So, but in the end, it's going to just come down to, brute strength, and can these guys get their jobs done, right? Are these guys for real? Are they able to step up when they need to and beat an SEC team at home? This is huge for recruiting this weekend, by the way. There's 82 recruits that are going to be there for Miami watching, and 17 of them are commitments, part of the next 2 signing classes. And I would say another 50 to 60 are guys that they really want. So, and I'm not just talking about 24 class, I'm talking about 25, 26. And this is when these seeds are sort of, planted, right? Hey, I want to go be a part of this thing, right? So Miami can't go out there on Saturday and get its ass kicked the way that it has the last few years in these games. They've got to go out there and perform and play really well and show improvement so that these kids start believing in Mario's message. So to me,
I was going to ask you that exact question, that a shitty performance is not on the agenda. There cannot, you can lose fundamentally the right way, or you win fundamentally the right way. What cannot happen is what's happened here in last year and in years past. You cannot look incompetent and overmatched. To me, that's the only, that's the one option that does not exist for like Mario had to look. Remember, we talked about it going into this past week of Miami, Ohio. I said, you got to look at least competent and organized. And you did for 4 quarters. Well, you also got to look. I mean, last year you lost 17-9. So it wasn't like you got your asses kicked completely, but you can't get dominated tomorrow. You just can't.
Right. Texas A&M's offense is much improved. They're going to score points. So you got to be able to score points. You can't have the type of game you had last year where you're kicking 3 field goals. You can't get in the red zone and push the line of scrimmage. Like if they look physically outmatched tomorrow and they lose this game 38 to, I don't know, 12 or 13, then that's the kind of thing that sets you back and you say, man, what have they been doing? Right? Like these guys were 5-7 too last year. They got better. Are our improvements fake, right? Like that's what you don't want Miami players and recruits to be saying to themselves as they walk out of the stadium tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, that's the part that can't be unacceptable. All right. Give me 2 names on each side of the ball that have to be absolute studs tomorrow.
Well, I would say absolutely both offensive tackles. They got to protect Tyler Van Dyke, and they're going to have their hands full. I think, I'll give that as one answer on offense. The other answer I'd give on offense is Colby Young. They need him to really deliver in the passing game because they're going to get challenged. These guys are going to do a better job stopping the run than Miami of Ohio did. And I suspect that, Colby Young's going to have some opportunities to make plays down the field, and he's got to come through. So that guy's huge. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I think Akeem Mazador, he's supposed to be your best defensive lineman. You need him to blow some things up in the backfield. You need him to get Connor Wegman on his butt a couple of times. So, and then I would say in the secondary, Jaden Davis, he kind of became the de facto number 1 corner, right? We didn't know who it would be, and he played practically the whole game. Didn't really come off the field against Miami of Ohio very much at all. He's the transfer from Oklahoma. He's the 6th-year guy. They need him to do a really, really, really good job against those A&M receivers and don't give up the big play. I think if we see that from Miami, they probably win this game.
All right. They definitely got to step up because last year, you're right. I know they had a 52-point performance this past week, so they're going to put up some points. And Tyler Van Dyke also cannot have any ugly interceptions like he had last week against Miami of Ohio. He's got to stay away from that ugly mistake.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? In the end, Miami of Ohio decided, hey, we're going to force you to run the football against. They didn't want to give up the big play. So Tyler didn't have many options to throw the ball down the field. And I think, him and Shannon Dawson both admitted, like, we forced that, right? We basically wanted to try to force the ball down the field. They can't do that in this game because they can't afford to lose a turnover battle. You have to be smart with the football, get as many points as you can because, like I said, Texas A&M is going to score. What Miami wants to do is hold them below 30 and try to get to 30 themselves. And if they can do that, they'll win the game.
What's the prediction?
I got Texas A&M winning. I picked them in the preseason, and based on what I saw in game 1 with Connor Wegman and those receivers, that's what puts fear into me for Miami. I don't know that Miami, I'm still not 100% convinced their secondary is a lot better, right? Like I still got to see it. And I think this week, with the type of receivers A&M has, I just think there's going to be some matchup problems, and they're going to give some points. So I got A&M winning by about a touchdown or so in this game.
Yeah, you need an elite pass rush then, so you can help out that damn secondary. That's what you need to do.
That's why I said Akeem Mazador,
exactly.
Nigel Kelly, those guys. This is the week, right? Like if you're the real deal. And I'll say this about Texas A&M: they're starting a true freshman at right tackle as well. And they had to throw a lot of, freshmen into the fire last year on the offensive line. So these are a lot of second-year guys that it's not like they have 800 starts combined between them. This is also young. So this is the kind of game where if you're Miami and you're legit, beat these SEC offensive linemen that aren't necessarily super experienced. Beat them. Go out there and give it to them. You know, so if they do that, they'll win the game. I still have my doubts because I know this team is talented. Texas A&M's talent, by the way, the fourth most talented team in the country according to the recruiting rankings. When you combine the roster together, fourth most talented team. So Miami knew that last year. They went in there, only lost 17-9. This year, I expect them to be right in the game again. Let's see them pull off the win at home. I'd like to see that.
The roster is loaded with 4- and 5-star guys, man. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be really, really interesting. Follow him on Twitter and Manny_Navarro and catch his work there at The Athletic. Manny, always. Thank you, sir. Enjoy the weekend. We will catch up on Tuesday.
All right, man. Take care. Good talking to you.
Thank you, sir. There he is, Manny Navarro. Caneswear, baby. You can go to caneswear.com. You can go personally. Use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off at caneswear.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Right, folks. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, they sell all kinds of gear for all kinds of teams at Caneswear and at Baptist Health. Guess what? They take care of all the teams also. So you can get your gear there, but they take care of the pros. The Miami Heat, the Miami Dolphins, the Florida Panthers, Inter Miami, FIU, FAU. Telling you folks, Orange Bowl, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Miami Open Tennis, Miami Marathon, Half Marathon, and guess what? They take care of the pros, and they can take care of you. So go to baptisthealth.net/ortho, folks. And, of course, led by John Uribe, who does an amazing job. So if you have an injury that's keeping you from doing what you love, take charge of your health and get back in the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. Use that QR code there. So if you are struggling with something right now and you want to get back in the game, use that QR code and reach out to our friends at Baptist Health, proud sponsors of our platform. And we thank the great people at Baptist Health. Dig'em Smack says, good thing the Chiefs don't have some of the flighty Dolphin fan types, or it would be the end of the world, fire sale, get draft picks. I'm sure they have them, but once you've had success for a while, you don't panic like that. You know, way to go, Dig'em Smacks. You know, you take out a statement that makes no sense whatsoever. Let me explain to you something, my brother. When a fan base has been sucking forever, like the Dolphins have for 20 years, or the Lions, or anything else, or the Magic, whatever it is, whatever bad franchise, when things go awry, that's when people go crazy. They don't go crazy with teams that are already established and are winning titles and have the best quarterback or the best offensive player in the NBA or whatever. They don't panic in the heat if they lose a game. You know what I mean? It's a whole different ball game, the Heat Nation and the Dolphin Nation. You know, but I get it, Dig'em Smacks. You wanted to take some kind of a shot, and you thought you were being smart, and you thought you were being clever, but you weren't being clever. You weren't being smart. It's a lame take on your part, my brother. All fan bases of bad teams panic all the damn time. It's not a Miami thing. It's a loser thing, and that happens to every franchise. But that's all right, dude. If you want to make it out like comparing the Dolphins to the Chiefs right now, it kind of shows that, you know, again, bro, not very smart. So maybe, you know what you got right now? You got smacked down. I hope you dig it, because that's what happens. Make sure when you chime in, you're kind of prepared, because if you say something stupid, I'm going to call you out for it, and you said something stupid. Anyway, Big O, this is the first time in a while that we have 2 SNF football games, probably many more in the future. If you win, you will get more of those, and that's up to the Dolphins. When the Dolphins were a respectable franchise and they were one of the best franchises in the NFL, they had a crap ton of prime time. And back then, it was only Monday night. We didn't have Thursday night, and we didn't have Sunday night football. It was Monday night football, and you expected Marino and company to be on Monday Night Football maybe 2, maybe 3 times in a year. Yeah, those were the days. So, what are you going to do? Samuel says, our counter last season was running the football against the Chargers, and we didn't consistently run the football last season. Yep. They will this year, and they better, actually, because that's how your team will get better. We're at 181, and it's 218 on the chat board. Down, by the way. It was a little higher when Cam was on, but I get it. People come and go on the live show, and that's kind of the way it goes. It's understandable, but hit that like button. And remember, folks, watch hours on this channel. Watch the same thing you were doing on the other channel for us to get us over the 4,000 hours, and you got us over that thing quickly. Same thing here, man. If you can let it play, you go do your chores or whatever, or you got something to do in the office, and you were watching the show or a segment, let it play out. Let it play, baby. Appreciate all of you out there for that. It's a great way of supporting the channel. Bitcoin is just under 26,000 at 25,850. The market right now, the Dow is up 98 points. The S&P is up 16 points, and the NASDAQ is barely down. Barely down. Not even 10% of a point down. It's like 5 millionth of a point down. It's nothing. It's crap. So it's good. You're all good right now, at least on the stock side. I mean, everything's kind of sideways right now. Although China's going down, and Japan is also struggling big time. The dollar's the one strong thing right now in the world. It's crazy. You know how we're all going through financial issues. It's way worse in a whole bunch of other countries than us. Way worse, which is crazy, dude. And the dollar's been going up, and then the yen and the what's the other one called, the yuan or whatever, down big time. China's got some real problems, dude. Some real problems. Can't give a victory cigar to the Marlins yesterday. They ended up losing big, 10-0, but that's all right. They got 2 out of 3 out of the Dodgers, which is absolutely monstrous. That was pretty damn cool that they were able to take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. If they would have gotten the sweep, that would have been absolutely crazy if they would have gotten the sweep. That would be incredibly impressive. Let's see. GP Trap says, you could be an Angels fan. 2 of the best players in baseball can't make the playoffs. I know, right? It's crazy. Big O saw The Silence of the Lambs the other day. Wow, tremendous movie. Holy crap, Anthony Hopkins killed it. Yeah, you're young, right, Anthony? If I remember correctly, that's probably what it is. Yes, hell of a movie. Hell of a movie. Stephen Harris says, good morning, Big O and Sean. Happy Friday. Tua versus Herbert, round 3. Oh, what are your thoughts on Colorado-Nebraska game? The fans are putting their money behind Dion. Well, I wouldn't put it. You can't trust Nebraska. Nebraska hasn't proven anything at any point that they can be trusted in decades. decades now. So I would trust Colorado, and especially the way Shedeur Sanders threw the ball. I'm telling you, nothing gets me more excited than accuracy. When I see it, Sean Merriman is the guy that still plays with the shiny little objects. It's amazing. This is a guy that played the game and still thinks that athletic ability is everything about a quarterback when it's not. It's accuracy, it's ball placement, it's anticipatory skills. Those are the things that make an elite quarterback. Not running like the wind and throwing at 150 miles an hour. None of that ever makes you an elite quarterback, okay? So I look at Shedeur Sanders, and when I see accuracy like that, I'll trust that, dude, every day of the week and twice on Sundays, okay? Nebraska, Colorado showed me something last week. They went on the road against one of the best programs in college football, because TCU is one of the best college football programs in the last 5 years in college football. They are consistently one of the top-ranked teams. Am I wrong on this? TCU, last 5 years, consistently one of the best teams in college football. Always in the top 20. Hell, maybe always in the top 10. Okay? That's how Gary Patterson, right? Is it Patterson that's still there? No, it's not Patterson. Who's the new guy that took over for Patterson now? Either way, they have done no, the guy that took over just came from another program. Now I'm brain farting. Get me the name. He's got a name from another program. I think he's only been there like 2 years, if I'm correct. You're right. Gary's gone, and then that other guy took over. But either way, TCU, Sonny Dykes, that's it. Either way, TCU's been an absolute excellent program, and Colorado's been crap for decades. For them to do what they did, Nebraska hasn't done anything like that in forever. So if I'm looking at this game, I'm trusting Colorado. I don't trust Nebraska whatsoever. And remember what I told you, confidence. While the Canes beat nobodies last week, they still have to feel better about themselves because they dominated the nobodies and they played confident, competent, professional football. And that should roll over into this game. You're going to play against better talent, no doubt about it. But at least you played competent football, something you could not do last year at no point. So you got to give them credit for that. Hour number 3 is next, and we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little basketball, little World Cup, a little Choke Cup, a little Jovic. Yeah, Lillard, where the hell is he? Anthony Chang is coming your way, baby, with our Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Heat report.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Heat fans, the fast break is on. It's our Baptist Health of South Florida Heat Report with insider Anthony Chang. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Anthony Chang.
All right. Ready to rock, ready to roll. There he is. You all right there? Did you watch the choke job or what? Were you
did watch that
already
game.
watched the choke job against Germany? You lose to Germany, bro?
I dropped off my daughter in school, watched Team USA, did not expect that, and yeah, that was a very surprising result.
Mo Wagner? You're losing to Mo Wagner and Dennis Schroeder, a guy with gold hair. Although he doesn't have the gold hair anymore, right? He doesn't have the streak.
I don't think he does now.
I think he took off the streak. Bro, Germany?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is not the A team, right, for Team USA, but still, they're the most talented team in the tournament. They're not, you obviously always expect Team USA to win gold. They shoot 48% from three, I think, and still lost, which is a little bit surprising. You think when Team USA shoots that well, with the athleticism they have, they shoot the three ball well, they should win. But Germany also shot the ball well. They had more field goal attempts. The offensive rebounding is still an issue for Team USA. And that really hurt them. I think Germany finished with 7 more offensive rebounds, I believe, or 5 more offensive rebounds than Team USA, which in a 2-point game or 1-point game, that's a difference.
Yes, I mean, it's just despicable. That this proves, right, that Spo should be coaching, not Steve Kerr. Just saying. I mean,
it proves that Bam Adebayo is really important to Team USA, which we were talking about a few days ago.
Yes,
they needed defensively. Again, Team USA shot the ball well. It was their defense was atrocious against Germany.
So where's the slacker? Why isn't he there?
I mean, it's not the Olympics.
He took it off? Is that it? He just said
most of that Team USA that won gold in where did they win it? In Tokyo, I believe. They didn't play in this World Cup. They didn't. Most of them are expected back in Paris next year for the Olympics, but did not play in the World Cup, which is why we saw a lot of new faces, a lot of young faces for Team USA in this tournament.
Where was this World Cup played at?
Well, Team USA played their games in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
Philippines. Yeah. It was
right.
all in Manila.
So Spo had a fun time there.
Spo was a rock star over there.
I can imagine, bro.
Yeah, he's obviously he's beloved over there. Anytime he goes back, it's a huge deal. He was taking questions about it for most of the season, in the NBA season, because it was just so anticipated.
Best coach in the NBA is Philippine. They should.
Yeah,
they should be pumped up. We have the best coach in the world, Eric Spoelstra. Yeah, bro. That's Philippines should be very excited about that. That's because he is. So it's time to fire Steve Kerr and hire Eric Spoelstra as your head coach, right?
I would expect, obviously, Steve Kerr to be the head coach for the Olympics next year, right? Because he just took over. The Olympics are next year. But, I mean, at this point, with the trajectory Eric Spoelstra is on with Team USA and how good he is as a coach, I mean, what better candidate to take over as head coach after Steve Kerr, right? So that's definitely a possibility for sure. I think Eric Spoelstra was asked by a reporter during the World Cup. Obviously, I'm not there. And he didn't really want to discuss it because, Spo never looks forward. He's never going to talk about that. But, I mean, that makes all the sense in the world to move to the next phase with Spo as the head coach. So we'll see.
Heat Nation isn't overreacting anymore to Jovic's performance in the World Cup anymore, huh? After those first couple games, it has not been the same Jovic since.
Yeah, it seems like he's not taking as many shots. He's not playing as many minutes. He's still starting. He had 8 points on 4-4 shooting, which, I mean, on 4 shots, 8 points is good, right? 1 rebound, 1 assist. He's playing solid. He's not, scoring 25 points on 9 of 9 shooting from the field like he did early on in the tournament. But for a 20-year-old, this is all. I mean, he just needs to play, right? He just needs to play basketball.
Yeah.
Whether it's Summer League, the World Cup, the Olympics, whatever, G League, like he needs to play basketball, and he's been playing a ton of games. So this is really good for him. And he's played well. Like, look, he's going to play for the gold medal on Sunday. He's playing a starting role for Serbia. He's their third leading scorer. So this is all good for him. And good for the Heat too. It's encouraging, right? Because I think I was talking about this with somebody yesterday. One of the most encouraging things about Nikola Jovic this summer has been his three-point shooting. Shooting, I think, close to 50% on threes in the World Cup. That's what his role is going to be on offense if he's playing minutes for the Heat, right? He needs to space the floor. He didn't shoot the ball well last year as a rookie. So the fact that his three-point shot looks better this year, or at least this summer, that's encouraging for the Heat.
Yeah, although I'm still saying take Jovic, give me Jaquez. Jaquez, I'll stay with Jaquez over Jovic when it's all said and done. Let's anything. Do we know anything on the Portland end? I know we talked earlier in the week, and I'm sure nothing's changed. At least I haven't read anything out there.
Things are still very, very quiet, and it seems like nothing really has changed. Their discussions have not picked up between the Heat and the Blazers. I still expect that discussions will ramp up at least a little bit before camp. Like, how could they not, right? That's like the next deadline. Some call it arbitrary deadline because he could still be on the roster after, during camp, obviously. But there is going to be at least some sense of urgency that maybe we can get a deal done before camp and avoid that circus, right? Of bringing him in a media day, training camp, that whole situation looming over Portland, before the season and then maybe even into early in the year. So I think there will be at least some sense of urgency in the next couple weeks. We'll probably hear a little bit more. Whether a deal gets done or not, we'll see. We'll see. It's kind of a game of poker right now, right? Who's going to blink first? Or is Portland going to take the Heat's offer and say, well, we're not going to get anything better. Let's just get it done. Will the Heat say, we want to get this done before camp. We want to be able to go into camp with Damian and build some chemistry and build an offense and not have to do this in mid-season. Let's improve our offer and get it done. We'll see. I don't know. Those questions will be answered, in the coming weeks.
Well, there's a story out there that says NBA front office people are back in the offices. Players are starting to come in for the start of training camp, working on the facilities. So there will be more conversations between the Blazers and prospective teams over the next few weeks that there were certainly over the last few months. There is a deadline-driven league. The next real deadline of any real substance is the start of training camp, and I think you can expect the Blazers to talk to teams again before then. But I think this is an organization that is fully prepared. And I think Damian Lillard is also prepared for the possibility that this training camp may start with him in camp. And then if you're the Blazers, you wait to see what happens in the first 20 to 25 games of the season to see what direction teams go in. Teams may become interested in who aren't interested now, or teams who are interested now may be willing to give more in trades. And it certainly gives you the possibility to construct a 3-team deal, which is what Damian Lillard deal might look like. And all of that sounds great in theory. I just have a hard time believing it. And here's the thing. I know that they're also all reporting, Damian won't cause any ripples. Maybe he has to cause ripples. And maybe he's waiting for that moment why cause it now when the trade still can happen? But once we get to the point of no return, that you're making me go back to training camp with you guys, and I don't want to be here, what do you think the chances are that the people that think Damian Lillard isn't going to ruffle feathers, that he starts to ruffle those feathers and he starts to create some waves, as they say?
I think Damian has a lot of respect for Portland. Not only the organization, but the city, right? And I don't know Damian Lillard. I haven't covered him yet, or maybe I will in the next season.
You will.
We'll see.
You will.
But from everything people I've talked to, from everything I've read, there's a lot of respect for that city, that organization. He's beloved there, right? It's kind of like Dwayne Wade in Miami. He'd rather not make it ugly, but if he has to, right? I mean, that's going to be the next question. If this does enter media day in camp, how does he handle it? Is it as simple as, maybe you don't make it messy like James Harden, but you just stay away and say, I'm not going to report. I'll give him my paycheck. I'm not going to report. Find a deal. I'm not coming to camp. Maybe it's something like that where he just stays away and he does it his own way and creates a ripple effect that way. That kind of is, if this continues without a deal and we get to October 2nd on media day and he's still on Portland's roster, again, I'm going to be covering Portland's media day closer than the Heat's media day because that is going to be the story, right? Well, how does Damian Lillard handle this situation? Does he show up for media day? Does he not show up? What does Chauncey Billups have to say? What do teammates have to say? I mean, it's going to be a circus in Portland if he's still there.
Yeah. And listen, the Heat have acquired guys. Shaq was not in a good place with the Lakers and Phil Jackson at that point when he was weighing 400 pounds and had a bad toe and then came to Miami and lost all that weight. Zoe wasn't happy with Charlotte. Golden State wasn't happy with Tim Hardaway. So Jimmy Butler wasn't necessarily happy with his scenario, although the Philly thing was more they made a decision to go with Tobias than him. So it wasn't really a butting heads type of thing. But that just in case if people are, maybe the Heat won't be happy if he's ruffling. No, the Heat won't care. The Heat, you know, it's just, you know what I'm saying?
Part of the business. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the business. And maybe it's the only thing that he hasn't done and he may not want to do.
Right.
But guess what?
Yeah.
You might have to, bro.
Look at Goran Dragic. Goran Dragic, I covered Goran during his time here. The nicest guy you could ever meet. Just a great person. I cannot even imagine him ruffling any feathers. And he got out of Phoenix by ruffling some feathers. He forced his way out of there because he got to a point where he needed to. So everyone reaches a point where they might not want to do it, but if their agent or confidants are saying, look, Dame, if you want to get out of there, if you want to get what you want, you got to do this. He might have to do something out of character, unfortunately. We'll see if it gets to that point, right? We have 3-4 weeks until media day. Again, I think the expectation, like you just read, the expectation around the league and people I've talked to as well, things will start to pick up here in the coming weeks, especially as training camp gets closer and closer. But that doesn't mean a deal gets done. It's been now over 2 months since Damian Lillard requested a trade, and nothing has come close. So, you know, there's no guarantee that anything's going to get done in the next 3-4 weeks.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, bro.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes your program director tells you, hey, don't talk about other hosts that get arrested in our company. They don't want that. And then sometimes you got to go do it so that way they can fire you and you can start your own platform. You know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
No, seriously, that's what happened to me.
No, I mean it's true. I mean
they had this memo that they sent out, and they were like, "No, you listen, you know, because obviously it's a huge company and owns 1,000 stations, so there's hosts all over the place. So some hosts got in trouble, and we were laughing about it on the show, this and that, and apparently others were doing it, and so then they passed a memo, you know, company wide. Hey, listen, if one of our own people have." Even if it's not in your market, you do not bring it up on your show. You know that's how corporate works. Well, sure enough, some guy got arrested in New York, the station that they own, and I said, "This is my opportunity right here. Right here is my opportunity."
When you know what's going to get you out, you do it, right? I mean,
yeah, you damn right I do it, and I did it, and the idiot took hook, line, and sinker, and I got out like I wanted to. I don't think he's ever fired anybody with a smile on his face, except yours truly. I mean, really, seriously, I don't think anybody has ever done that. Like, you know, they're like, it's funny because when he told me, "Hey, let's talk after the show," I was like, I knew right there and then I was getting fired. And I go, "Hey, Solana, remember I told you 11 months ago I was getting fired? Here we go. Here's the nail in the coffin." Yeah. I told Solana. Solana knows. I predicted. I told the salespeople months before that guy will fire me eventually, but I had to give him the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
And I knew, and I go, I got to get out of here, bro. Because this is the future, not radio. Radio's dead, you know. So I say to Dame Lillard, bro, I've been there.
Yeah.
And I've done it. Do it, bro.
Yeah.
Get the hell out, because corporations don't care about you. They use you up and step all over you. And that's what this asshole wants to do, Joe Cronin. He had 11 years to build a winner around him. He failed to build a championship around the guy. The guy's window's closing.
Yeah.
He needs to get the hell out. And now you want to control where you send him where you might send him to another shitty club that won't build a winner around him, and then his career's over, and there you go, bada bing, it's over.
Yeah.
No, dude, he wants to control his destiny. And I think in a perfect world, we all want to control our destiny if we can. And more often than not, can we? No, we can't. So if you want to control your destiny, do something about it, Dame. Do something.
And his situation is unique because I know some people compare it to like Jimmy Butler, right? When Jimmy Butler was in Minnesota and he created a mess, it's different, right?
Completely.
Like this guy, again, is an icon over there. He is, the best I can compare it to is Dwayne Wade. I know things ended a little bit messy in 2016.
Yeah, but that wasn't his fault.
But that was exactly.
That was their fault, not his fault.
Right.
Dame has done, like Wade,
yeah.
Dame has done everything right by you.
He's been loyal. He's been
phenomenal.
One of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah.
Great person, never
doesn't get arrested, doesn't have any stupid stuff off the court or anything. He's impeccable, bro.
He's been through rebuilds. He's been through it all. And now he's ready. Again, his window's closing, like you said. Portland's obviously going with a youth movement and is rebuilding now. It just makes sense for Portland too, like to move on. And I know they want a better offer, right? That's what they.
Sure, they want the Orlando Magic to give him a whole bunch of shit. Yeah. And then they send him to the Magic, and they don't care. Screw you, dude.
Right.
No, we're not doing that.
Dame is 33, 34 years old. He has $216 million left on his deal. This isn't like you're trading Kevin Durant at 25, right? Like this isn't this. You're not going to have the same return. You're just not. Or even Anthony Davis. When Anthony Davis got traded to the Lakers, Anthony Davis he's still young. Very young.
Yeah.
And it just was a different situation. So this is kind of a very unique.
And by the way, you also have limited teams that will be interested because you have to have the window right
now. Correct.
This second.
Right.
And then you have to have the cap space on top of having the opportunity. So that limits you down to only a couple teams. And obviously Miami is definitely one of them, but yeah.
And willing to, you never know what that contract's going to look like when he's 35, 36 and he's getting $50 million a year, right? It might not be a great contract, but you're going for it right now. If you win a title in the next 2 years, you don't care what that contract looks like on the back end.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a very limited, group of teams that it makes sense for.
Crazy. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. Catch his work there at the Miami Herald, and twice a week here doing our Baptist Health of South Florida /Ortho, Miami Heat, and NBA report. Anthony, have a great weekend, my friend. We will catch up next week, and hopefully we get a little closer to Damian Lillard. Appreciate you.
We'll see. Thanks, Big O.
Thank you, sir. Always, baby. Always. Thank you, sir. And the football. That's right. Football, too. Thank you, Anthony. There you go. That's your BaptistHealth.net Miami Heat report.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Heat report with Anthony Chang is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net.
It was Craig Carton that got arrested. Remember he had that ticket thing or fixing games or some shit or whatever. I don't know, whatever it was. And I was like, and so I go, perfect. They own this station. Hook, line, and sinker, you idiot. Thank you. Thank you for the freedom that I have now. Thank you for us being more successful than I've ever been in radio. So it's awesome. It's better and freedom. I'll be in Vegas at the end of the month. No thanks to you. This will be the third time I'm in Vegas. No thanks to you. Thanks to him and moi. Okay? There you go. That's what I like. I like being in charge of my own destiny. I like working for myself and working for him. That's it. That's all. That's all I want to do. All right? And we're able to do it. It's a beautiful thing. I remember if you ever see Hollywood, ask him about the conversation. I'm prepping and I go, hey, man, you see this with Craig Carton? This is a funny story. He goes, well, I don't know I don't think you should talk about that in the air. Oh, really? Okay. Oh man, it's awesome, awesome. I wonder if he ever thought, like, why is that guy smiling at me? I told him, thank you. I've been looking forward to this. Who says that when you get fired, bro? I remember the HR guys, like, I've never seen anybody as happy as you are. And I go, because you have no idea. I know what I'm going to do. I already know what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? I'm playing chess. These idiots are playing checkers. You know what I mean? So I didn't get fired. I got freed. That's what I look at. Called my wife and I go, I'm finally free. But wives, women are not like us. They're super conservative. Are you sure, honey? I got your back. I'm with you, sweetheart, but are you sure? Now she's like, yeah, you did the right thing. That's for damn sure. Frankie Fresco, what do you think of South Beach, Cleveland? They're shutting down. Frankie, all good things must come to an end. I've learned that over time. I lost my dad when he was 51 years old. My best friend was my dad, and devastating for me. Something I never could recover from, never will. I lost my best friend. Going to be 2 years, December 9th here, coming around the corner, and that's a void that I'll never, ever be able to fill, ever. And we lose things. Sometimes we have a run, whether it's a gambling run, whether it's a good job, whether it's working with maybe a good situation, and then the person leaves and then the situation completely changes. Like when Beasley sold to CBS, that was the beginning of the end of WQAM as a sports station. And so we had a great time when QAM was a rock star station. When I was there and I wasn't one of the lead dogs. Okay? I was the night, weekends, and the main reporter on the station. That was my job as a reporter, and I was happy with it. But when we had Neil and we had Mandich and we had the first team and stuff like that, that was when the station was at its peak. When it had the best lineup, we had real reporters, we actually broke stories. We actually were like a real sports station. And it ended. You know what I mean? You look at QAM now, they got terrific guys there, but the structure and everything they have, it's a shell of what it used to be. It's a shit station now. Those guys are just there cashing checks, but they're nothing anymore as a sports station. They got nobody there breaking any news, nothing. They got nothing there, pretty much. They got a couple guys that do a talk show, and that's it. They're collecting checks. They're not trying to kick ass because their company's not trying to kick ass. So everything comes and goes. It was a great time to hang out in the Clevelander back in the day. And Club 1235 and, OVO and, all that kind of stuff. Miami Beach now is shit, dude. It's a cesspool. And they allow too many, groups out there that end up, then they're going to do the same thing they did to us in Fort Lauderdale. When they kicked us out, they're going to kick all the kids out and all the spring breakers and all that. And they should. Because, we partied back in the 80s. But we were partying. We weren't bringing guns. We weren't doing donuts in the middle of the street. And we weren't jumping on people's cars and destroying them. These animals, and so you have a business now in South Beach and you got to close because you run into these, spring break and Labor Day weekends and all this kind of stuff where you have all these idiots come in from out of town and creating a whole bunch of a mess. So I don't go to South Beach at all anymore. If you catch me in South Beach, it's because I had to go there for some meeting or something, but I'm rarely taking my wife anymore. Maybe I'll go to Lincoln Road Mall for some dinner. You know, I'll come in through 112, down Alton Road, into Lincoln Road Mall, park, eat, get back in the car, get back on 112, and get the hell out. You know, sometimes I'll do that. But, you know, South Beach, for most of us, we stay away from South Beach. There's just too much shit in South Beach. There's just too many bad people in South Beach. So I'm not surprised that the Clevelander is closing down. Things come to an end. Runs come to an end. And South Beach's run has come to an end until they kick all these kids out like Fort Lauderdale did. You need to become high-end, man. That's what South Beach should be. It should be for high-end clientele, people that have money. That's what it should be. Price these kids out. That's what you got to do. Price all of these college kids out and high school idiots that are going there and just creating havoc like they did to us in Fort Lauderdale. Same thing, except these idiots are just complete animals, absolute animals. When you're watching them just bounce on cars and destroy property for nothing. We never did anything like that. Not even close. So I am not surprised with the garbage that's happened in South Beach. And the mayor's dying to, is it Gelber? I think it is his name. He's dying to clean it up, bro. I saw the guy from one of those big bars there that's just right next to the Clevelander. He said that if they don't lower the curfew to like 9 o'clock or something next year for spring break or whatever, he's just going to close down his bar for 2 weeks. Think about that. That guy doesn't want to deal with the riffraff, and he's going to pass up some money so he doesn't put his business and his employees at risk, because that's all you're doing. So, yeah. So it's time to do what they did in Fort Lauderdale years ago. Kick all these punks out. Price them out. That's what you do. Price them out. The high-end people will stay. They'll find their home. Price the rest out. Gordon says, what surprises me more about Merriman is that he played with one of the best examples that athleticism doesn't make a QB, Phillip Rivers. Exactly. It's one of those things. And by the way, our fans do this also all over the place. Razzle Dazzle Crippled says, just touchdown in LA for the W on Sunday. Love it. Stephen Harris says, Big O, do you know who will be the starting tight end for the... Oh, Smythe, bro. Smythe is the starting tight end. The question is, how much will Hill play? You know, because I guess you're saying it because you like Hill like I do. But Smythe will be your starter. He's the guy you can count on. He's money. He is super, super steady. He's not special, explosive, but he's steady. Send Safed a reminder, por favor, please. Ray says, QM has never been the same since you left, which is why most of the listeners from QM moved over to YouTube. QM hasn't been the same since Neil and Mandich. Not me, dude. You know, I helped out very little. But it's having Joe and Goldie in the morning, you know, when there was a great lineup, you know what I'm saying? That's when, you know, trust me, it ended the second Beasley sold to CBS. That was the beginning of the end for QAM, because then that's when they started cutting everything. And they just started eliminating people, and it just became ridiculous. Okay. So really, it's been a while, bro. I appreciate the kind words, but it's a lot more than me, bro. A lot more than me. I was a very, very, very tiny piece. All right, let's rock and roll. Safedine is ready to go? He is. All right, I like it. Our Baptist Health of Miami Dolphins, an NFL report with Safedine now.
Let's get the latest from the Aqua and Orange with our Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with USA Today insider Safid Dean. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Safid Dean.
And the myth, the legend. How you doing, baby? You doing good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. My time caught up on me. I'm working on this photo wall here. We got a new backdrop coming in, so next time it'll be done. But we got some magic here happening.
Okay, good. That's it. You gotta have some kind of presentation, back there. That's very, very important. The question is, will Teron Armstead be presenting the Miami Dolphins at left tackle on Sunday?
I don't think so, Big O. I think Mike McDaniel pretty much said they're going to try to save him from himself and maybe keep him out this game. He didn't say those words exactly, but I'm not sure if Armstead will practice today. They're about to get on the field real soon. And then, Armstead might travel with the team on Saturday, so they don't have to put out a report that he's not traveling. But I'd imagine that he doesn't play and they hold him out, kind of like we saw the Chiefs do with Travis Kelce last night. Look, it's going to be a long season, man. It's going to be a really long season. Teron Armstead's the guy that you don't want on your team to be hurt all the time, playing hurt all the time, and he did that last year. Because it's going to be such a long year, why put him out there at 60, 70 right now if that's where he's at, maybe more, maybe less. And he's going to get treatment on everything kind of going forward too. So I would hold him out if Teron's ready week 2, if Teron's ready week 3, have him when he's ready. Don't have him when he's not at 100%. That's what I would do.
I'm with you. You know why? Because you're only going to make things worse, and then the lingering will be worse. And then the poor man is doing what he did last year, where he's carrying 8 injuries all throughout, and he's like, okay, I'll play in the playoff game, and I've got 800 injuries, and he was marvelous, by the way, in the playoff game, even all injured. I'm with you. Since he is so injury prone, you need to try to at least give him a chance to start the season at one point as close to 100 instead of starting the season at 70 and taking a beating, and it's only going to get worse from there. It's not going to get any better. So I'm with you. I think you protect him from himself and you protect the team. The question is, what is your confidence level of Kendall Lamb up against Khalil Mack?
I haven't seen much of Kendall Lamb. And actually, I've seen a lot more of Khalil Mack, a lot more of Joey Bosa. So that should let you know how comfortable I feel about this one. But
Kendall Lamb's preseason and training camp have been good. So what did you see there?
Yeah, definitely. Look, you see a guy obviously trying to work really hard for a position. He has an opportunity because Teron went down. You got a guy that's taking all the snaps in practice, which is what you want. It'd be a different story if he was not taking all the snaps and then he had to play. You got somebody that actually has an idea of what they want to do offensively. And maybe in the last couple of weeks, you created some continuity on that line with Lamb and who's the left tackle? His name is skipping me here.
Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah Wynn. We'll see how Austin Jackson does at right tackle. And if I'm the Dolphins, I'm running behind Robert Hunt the whole game if I have to make a run, to be very honest with you. But look, yeah, this offensive line has been together since the Houston week, right? So they were in the preseason for Houston, and we saw how they ran the ball against not just Houston, but the second preseason, the Jaguars. Yeah, so look, Mike McDaniel's offense, the zone running scheme, meaning that offensive linemen kind of get to a certain point and, they're taking linemen with them, and you're hoping these guys can hold on to a guy for an extended amount of time so that guys like Raheem Mostert and Devin Achane can hit the hole. And I really think if they get a carry inside the 3-yard line, Chris Brooks is going to come in with Allen Ingold. And I'm going to coin it right now. Brooks and Ingold feels like a law firm waiting to happen. I think Chris Brooks gets some carries in this game week 1 just because he's a bigger guy. And I think Tua, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek, they're going to have to maybe speed up a little bit of what they're doing timing-wise because of the fact that Armstead's not there. You don't get that extra second or 2 seconds. In some instances, it might be a little bit of a millisecond,
Yeah.
So I think their timing. I just hope the Dolphins settle down really quickly when this game starts. You know how every game starts, and it's really jittery at first. Even Tua admitted that part. This is a big game for Tua. This is a huge game for Tua. Not only are you going up against Herbert again, you're going up for the first time since we saw you last Christmas. So it's a lot riding on this game for the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel's going up against Brandon Staley as well. There's a lot of mini storylines here that I wonder if the Dolphins are just have a little bit too much going into this game, or they just have just enough and they're just going to focus on what they need to do and get out of here.
If I put you in Vegas and I said you've got to bet the over and under here,
okay.
Dolphins 27 carries as a team, over or under?
Under. I think you still want Tua to throw the ball a decent amount. Guys like Tyreek could be like, what the hell am I blocking here for, man? Give me the ball. So I think 20 is a good number to try to get at. And remember, the possessions are really low. The Dolphins might have 7-8 possessions in this game. If they're lucky, they get 10 to 12 to really make something happen. If they have some plays where, Tua finds Waddle, he breaks a 75-yard touchdown, and you speed up the game that way and get some more possessions that way, I can definitely see some more carries maybe later on in the game. I'd say under 27 carries if you had to put me in Vegas right now.
Yeah, and but you don't think the 2,000 thing, because I think they're going to run, because you've added Berrios, that 2,000-yard stuff with Tyreek is silliness. There's no shot it happens unless everybody's injured and he's the only one out there and you got to throw it to him. But if everybody's healthy and they are going to dedicate themselves to the run, and you've added Braxton Berrios, there's no 2,000 yards in your future.
Yeah.
In fact, he doesn't get more yards than he got last year.
Well, he had 1,700 yards last year. I definitely think he can get close to it. Look, Tyreek likes to say things to get a reaction out of people. He's patented. That's a patented move by him. He loves doing things like that. He's been on the record saying he does that. It's a great conversation starter. Sure. I had a funny interaction with Jalen Waddle this week too, because somebody asked him about the 2K Tyreek, and he's like, yeah, support it, great answer. And I walked over when everybody walked away. I was like, if Tyreek got 2,000 yards, you're going to be on the other side of the field. Like, what the hell, man? Throw me the ball. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think Tyreek just says things to say things. It's a nice distraction or something for media, a nice little question, whatever. But Tyreek's not touching 200. If Tyreek was the only receiver on this team and there was no Jalen Waddle, sure. Okay. But even look, they had 1,700. Tyreek got 1,700 last year, and Waddle had 1,400. So you give me 3,100 yards between those guys, I'll take it.
Oh, yeah.
And they're both in the top 10.
Yeah.
They both were in the top 10.
I just think they have something they didn't have last year. They have an impact third wide receiver. They have a guy that fills a role that they did not have last year. And I just think this is one of those crafty dudes that knows how to find a hole in the defense. And because Tua is so smart, I think he's going to take advantage of that. And I think is it Linus, the one with the towel and the peanuts? Is it Linus? It is Linus. Well, that Tua will be Linus, and his towel is going to be Berrios.
I can see it. See it. Everybody behind Tyreek and Jalen are kind of like what you have with the Chiefs. Just a bunch of guys you don't really know what you can get out of. But if I can get those guys, no, Berrios is good. But if I can get those guys in certain spots and they can catch the ball for me when I need them to, and not need to be in a rhythm because you're not going to get that many targets, and you can make a play for me on 3rd and 3, or you can make a play for me on 2nd and 8, so we can move the chains up a little bit. Sure, I think a lot of guys fill that role. It's not just Berrios. I think Ezukama is going to have some plays where he's running the ball like Deebo Samuel because you got Mike McDaniel as the coach. We'll see.
But you believe Berrios will be the guy, right? The main third guy out of that group. Yeah, I get you situationally. You're going to use Ezukama for his size, run some an end around or something like. I get that he has a role.
Yeah,
but Berrios is the guy to be your slot guy, right?
I think Berrios is the guy. I think Cedric Wilson could be the guy. I think he could get some more targets this year. Cedric Wilson catches like 50% of everything that comes his way, which is pretty high for a clip.
He's a good receiver.
He's a good receiver. I think they're going to move some guys around too. I would love to see Jalen and Tyreek take some plays out the slot as well and have a guy like, if not Cedric or, you call up Robbie Anderson for a game or something like that, like, and just play the X, so that you can move your best players around on the field and take advantage of some nickel corners, things like that. We've seen, other teams in the NFL do this all the time. I expect the Dolphins to do the same as well. Look, you got two really star weapons here. You got to use them. And when you don't have your star offensive tackle protecting everything on the outside, you got to get the ball to those guys really, really quickly, especially if you're coming back from, what you're coming back from last year.
Over and under for the Miami Dolphins team, 3 sacks.
Over.
Whoa.
I'll take an over on that. I'll take probably 4. Not too far over.
That's pretty good.
Look, Phillips got after Justin Herbert a bunch last year. Phillips probably had 2, and I know a sack was taken away from him last year too. He can get into the mix. I like to see one from Chubb. I can definitely see a coverage sack. I can definitely see Javon Holland coming and taking down his old college teammate as well. Justin Herbert is a big guy, man. 6'6", right? 250, 260. Like, he's a big dude. Big arm, as we know. I think he's going to have some good protection as well. Rashawn Slater's obviously on that offensive line. Good player there. I could see 4. I could see over 3. But yeah, I think this Dolphins defense, what really stuck out to me last night about the game, if you want to talk about the game last night too, there's a lot of continuity with that Lions team, and that made me think of the Dolphins, and that everybody in this defense, even though they're playing a new scheme, they played together for so long. They played together for so long that those guys are going to know certain positions, certain times in the game where they need to go make a play or need to rely on each other, and it's going to work out in their favor versus a team that doesn't have that continuity or new players coming in and out, young players. I like that. I think that's going to help the Dolphins in this game, even though it's a scheme that they're going to play for the first time.
Yeah, and I think like a guy like AVG is going to benefit from Fangio. I think Andrew Van Ginkel is going to have the best season he's had in his short career so far, because I think he's going to be put in positions that he hasn't been put in enough in the past. I think he's one of those under the radar guys that Miami hasn't used enough. A guy like Jalen Phillips, I think, is going to is set to break out. I think Javon Holland's going to have a monster year in this defense, because this is the kind of defense that keeps everything in front. And so Holland playing that center field spot, I think, is going to have a monster year. The question I would ask you is Brandon Jones, Deshaun Elliott. How is that other safety spot going to be handled, Safadine?
Yeah, guys are going to have to come back and get healthy. You're going to add Nick Needham into that mix too, although he doesn't play safety, he plays nickel. These guys are going to come back at certain points. I don't think Brandon Jones might be too ready for week 1. His first couple times out there on the practice fields weren't that encouraging because of the fact that he's coming back from a serious injury. But I do think Brandon Jones, when he was really good, he was really good. I believe that was before he got hurt, and even his first season too. Brandon Jones is a little bit of Swiss Army knife. You can have him blitz. You can have him stay back. You can have him be in the box a little bit. It's
he got better in coverage last year. I was really proud of him because that was like the chink in his armor, as they say, and he started to really show improvement in coverage. And I thought that was really cool. I felt terrible for him when he got the knee injury because he was making progress, man.
Yeah, he was playing really well. He was playing really, really well.
Yeah. I love him in all the areas. Run game, blitzing. He's a fantastic player in that sense. But the coverage part was the one that he had to add. And it's good that he got better because you got to be elite in coverage in this defense.
Yes,
if you're a linebacker, if you're a safety, you need to know how to cover. Obviously, corners have to do it, but in the other positions, Fangio kind of demands it, that you've got to have some coverage skills in order to play, in that defense.
Yeah, I think Jones is going to play in spurts. I don't think he's fully healthy. He could get exposed in this game if at the wrong time, if Herbert wants to wind up and throw a deep one, I definitely can see that. This is a game they're definitely going to miss Ramsey in for sure. This is a game they're going to miss Armstead. They're going to figure out something on the back end of that secondary because they know the Chargers are watching. They know the Chargers are going to attack them right then and there. The guys up front are going to have to come home. And that's really the way you're going to stop the Chargers. You got to make Justin Herbert uncomfortable, make him feel your presence, make that O-line feel your presence. Maybe Eckler gets off a couple plays, in the middle of the field or not too far away from the line of scrimmage, close by. But I think the Dolphins have a chance. I think they can definitely stop them. They just got to get really going on offense. I mean, the offense has to play really well.
Safed, what do you think when Fangio looks at the film last year? They lost by 6. Herbert threw a bunch of yards, but he didn't score, dude. He only threw for 1 touchdown. So they settled for a bunch of field goals. They could not punch the ball in. The defense actually, really, it was the offense that failed that game. The defense did more than enough for you to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
The offense was the real failure. So if you're Fangio, you've got a better defense. You're obviously a better defensive coordinator. What can he take from that game? Because that was an injury-riddled team also, especially in the secondary. What can he take from that game and say, I can use it in this one?
Yeah, to be honest, I couldn't tell you what exactly Fangio could take from that. All I know is that you have the players that have played together for so long already, right? You have Wilkins, you have Sealer, you have Raekwon Davis, you got all these edge rushers, Van Ginkel, you can get something out of Agba. Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb has got to be the one to really, really, ball out as well, because this is his scheme, like I've said before.
Yeah, right.
Jerome Baker, what he's going to offer you. You got something out of David Long. You're hoping he can tackle Eckler, in the open field when push comes to shove in that moment. Obviously Xavier's going to have a little bit of a time with Mike Williams. He did last year. Bigger receivers are going to give X some problems, sure. You're hoping Kader Kohu can stay toe-to-toe with Keenan Allen. If he's your cover guy, I would have him on Keenan Allen just because he's fast enough to stay with him. I'm sure Kohu might get beat a couple times, but he plays throughout the play. You know what I mean?
And he's athletic in the air, too. That's what I like about Kohu.
I like Kohu a lot.
He's got ball skills, and he's got body control in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very important. Not everybody does that. Kohu's got a lot of skill sets to play that position, dude. He really does.
I think Kohu's either going to be exposed or he's going to really show the Dolphins that they made a right move to put him in the lineup like this. I just hope that he's not playing a nickel. He needs to be on Keenan Allen in this game if you have X on Mike Williams, so Javon could kind of help out both sides, and whichever other safeties there can help.
As long as you're in base, but once you go to the nickel package, Kohu's your best nickel. Right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure who the best third receiver is for the Chargers right now. I know they got a rookie.
Palmer. Josh Palmer
too, yeah. Those are some big guys, man. They have some bigger receivers, whereas the Dolphins are smaller on the back end. But we'll see. I think at the end of the day, this game is going to come down to big, heavy hitters. It's going to come down to Eckler, going to come down to Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. For the Dolphins, they know how to counter that. It's got to be their D-line. Wilkins has to, cause some havoc, maybe get a sack or two so we can stack up that deal for next offseason for sure. But this one's on the offense for me, man. Mike McDaniel was really, really out-coached last time. They know they're going to try to take away the middle of the field going into this game. Maybe the Dolphins get some early success in the middle of the field and then they switch it up on them as an in-game adjustment, so to speak. But McDaniel has to either run the rock or get to it in some opportunities where 40 from the 30 he's launching and they're going to get some good plays.
All right, we wrap it up with this. What's the prediction? Who wins?
Man, without Armstead, I don't like it, man. I got Chargers 27-24. A close game for sure. I could definitely see the Dolphins pulling this one out too. If the Dolphins win this one, it'd be really big for me. It'd be a really big message. Everybody in the AFC saw what happened last night with the Chiefs and realized that, hey, we can probably go up 1-0 right now this week. Let's take it while we can.
Bro, that was Kadarius Toney, bro. Lions didn't win it. Pat Mahomes didn't lose it.
Lions
Andy
won it.
Reid didn't lose it. Kadarius Toney was the entire difference in that game last night, bro. I hope that kid did not sleep 1 second last night. If he has any scruples, he walked the floor like a country song all night long, bro. Okay.
Well, look, I understand. Kadarius Toney also won the Super Bowl for them a couple months ago. Had a touchdown, had a huge kick return, and won the Super Bowl for them.
Janet Jackson.
Pat Mahomes' second ring.
Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately?
He just won the Super Bowl. Give him a couple weeks. He'll get ready. Kadarius Toney, I'm not quitting on him, man.
Oh no, I'm not saying
the guy won a Super Bowl for them. He had a bad game.
Dude, I'm a Kadarius Toney fan.
Okay.
I liked him coming out of the Gators. I thought he was a guy that you could get a little bit under the radar because of the injuries and all that. And his injuries have been the thing that has stopped him from really excelling. And then last night, my God, bro, you got to stay away from the boneheaded stuff.
Yeah, man.
Holy
Three
crap.
plays that he could have had that would have changed that game. That one third down play was bad.
Completely. And he gave him 7 points.
Yes,
so
he did.
that's you lost by 1. You gave him freaking 7, dude. And Mahomes was, I mean, he wasn't the only guy. Sky Moore, a couple of guys dropped passes. Like, dude, Pat won that game yesterday.
Pat played really well
to win that game, dude. And it was just like, he's special, bro. God, he is special. Jesus.
Pat is really great, man. It doesn't matter who you put out there with him, but it did last night. I'm glad they found somebody in Rice. Tony didn't play all training camp, man, because he was coming back from a knee injury, meniscus. Like, if Ramsey was coming back the same way, same injury, he probably would have got caught on a play or two. You know, like, there's something for continuity. He's going to come back, and he's going to be better later on this season. I think this was a good wake-up call for the Chiefs, good, especially for all those other receivers, not named Tony as well. They're going to have to, get into a groove with Mahomes and know that if Mahomes is going to throw the ball to 7 different guys in the first half or first quarter alone, they're going to have to try to find a way to stay in some rhythm, because players don't like doing that. Players like having, being ball dominant. They don't like spreading around and running and being kind of checked out. And when you have to check back in for a play and then you have a drop, it's because you didn't see the ball for 20 snaps. So the Chiefs will get it together. Obviously they will. And I think Detroit, NFC North favorite for me. I had that preseason. They look good. Dan Campbell already looks like Coach of the Year candidate, man. How can you not love that guy?
You got to love him. Yeah, you got to love him. And listen, I'm a guy that doesn't believe in the raw coach, and that's kind of the way I see him. And he's got a great opportunity this year to, stick it to me and say, "You're wrong, dude. I'm a real coach." So I'm super impressed. By the way, was Chris Greer on the phone this morning with Kansas City? Hey, we got a guy, Cedric Wilson. You interested? You want? You want? He can catch a ball, unlike Kadarius Toney.
I think the Chiefs should have called the Bucks and see what Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are doing.
Well, that's a lot more money. They need it. That's a lot more money, and that's a lot more picks.
They need it.
You get Cedric Wilson pretty cheap, and he might be your number 1 receiver.
Sure. Make the Chiefs stronger while you got him nice and weak here. I don't think Chris Greer was doing that.
That's a good point on your part. That's a good point. But plus, he already gave him the bonus, right? So what the hell now at this point?
Only NFC teams are picking up the phone for Kansas City.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Safid_Dean. Catch his work there at USA Today. And he will be back with us on the post-game show on Sunday. Hopefully we'll be talking about that win over the Chargers. Safid, have a great day. Be safe in your travels as always. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you.
You have a good one, Big O.
You got it. There you go. The great Safid Dean and our BaptistHealth.net/ortho Miami Dolphins report.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with insider Safid Dean is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net.
Of its own, bro. Remember, folks, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Anytime, day or night, whenever you're watching, you can send in your comments, questions, insults, all kinds of stuff. I see we have 207 likes. Thank you. 211 watching right now. So if you have not hit that like button, please smash that like button. And remember, we need watch hours on this channel. Watch hours. So if you got to walk away, let it play. Let it play. Okay? That's what you do. You walk away, let it play. That's what you do. What else do we have? Joe in the morning, Big O 10-1, Coop and Crowder 1-3. Love that lineup. That was a fun lineup too. Samuel says, sorry to hear about your dad, Big O. My family and I send our condolences and prayers out to you, Big O, and your family. Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's been, close to 30 years, and you never recover from it, man. You never recover from it. Let's see. Poopart no longer is on the platform, unfortunately. We had to part ways because it's not exclusive, and I have certain requirements to be a part of this platform, and one of them is exclusivity. And so, not exclusive, so we had to make a business decision. Got nothing but love for Poop. He is a fantastic human being, but unfortunately, you got to make decisions, and they're business decisions, not personal. Big O, you're alive. Thank God, bro. Well, at least for now. We'll see if we're alive tomorrow. Orlando, thoughts on Herbert, Hurts, and Burrow getting the bag? Well, first of all, I mean they're all set to get a bag. The one that interests me is the Burrow one because I don't trust Mike Brown as far as I can throw him. And so now that he signed Burrow and he's going to have to sign the receiver next year, I just want to see how he's going to start to pay the rest of the roster. And will he hold out at not paying certain people because now he's got his quarterback under control and he can't go anywhere. And Mike Brown doesn't give a shit. He'll play hardball with you harder than any owner out there. He won't care. You will not intimidate him. You will not force him to do anything. So if Joe Burrow ever even thought of holding out or whatever, bro, Mike Brown won't flinch. Okay? So I'm just telling you, that's how that guy runs the deal. So that's what I'm intrigued with the Joe Burrow contract. How is Cincinnati going to handle their money over the next couple of years? Will they do the things that I know Stephen Ross will do in order to put a winner around Tua? Because if eventually he has to pay Tua, he will pay everybody else that Chris Greer gets, and he's not ever going to complain about money. Mike Brown will complain about money. Mike Brown is cheap. Stephen Ross is not cheap, but Mike Brown is cheap. The Rams aren't cheap, but Mike Brown is cheap. Okay? The Cowboys aren't cheap, but Mike Brown is cheap. See what I'm saying? Jets, Giants, they'll spend. Mike Brown will not. So now that he has to pay guys, and now that he's going to pay his quarterback, when that extension kicks in another year, we're going to see. We're going to see how he handles everything from here on out. That, to me, is the storyline that nobody talks about. They're just talking about getting the bag, and that's a big deal, bro. They're all going to get bags. They're all going to get paid. We had to pay Ryan Tannehill $17 million a year at that time. It was crazy money, but that was the going rate at the damn market. So that's what these people are getting, the going rate. And Tua will get the same thing if he balls out too. Oh, well. With Tua, he has to stay healthy. He'll ball out. I'm not worried about him playing. Let's see. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Big O, what's your NFL parlay bets for this weekend? I haven't picked one yet, but I do have this prediction. Let's go with our predictions for divisions and wild cards. I got to tell you, bro, picking the wild cards in the NFC, holy shit. Have you looked at it, how bad the NFC is, Sean? I want you to, right now, while you're, listening here and doing your notes, check the standings in the NFC and pick your divisional winners and then pick your wild cards. And tell me how hard it's going to be to settle down in the 3 wild cards. Watch. I mean, it's brutal. AFC, we start off with the East. The Dolphins will win the division at 12-5. AFC North, the Steelers will win the division. Not the Bengals. The Steelers, 11-6. The South, Jacksonville will win the division at 10-7. The West, the Chiefs will win the division at 13-4. In the NFC, the Eagles will win the East at 13-4. The Lions will win the North at 11-6. The Saints will win the South at 9-8. The Niners will win the West at 12-5. Wild cards for the AFC: Bills, Bengals, and Chargers. Wild cards for the NFC: Dallas, Seattle, and Washington. I got to tell you, to come up with that third, it was hard even coming up for all three of them. I can make a case for Dallas, Seattle, and Washington not making the playoffs. I mean, it is a bad conference, right? Right, you can't count on Minnesota because they tore down a lot and they sold a lot of their players. So that's the predictions, and I'm sticking with it. By the way, folks, when sports and business collide, well, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. Doing something absolutely silly, useless, and I don't know what fan really wants to do this, but whatever fan wants to do it, I'm just going to put a big old L on your forehead because you're a freaking loser. If you've ever had a burning question for Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, have no fear. AT&T Stadium just added a feature that may appeal to you. The home of the Cowboys revealed Meet Jerry Jones, the AI experience, on Thursday, which apparently uses artificial intelligence to power a hologram version of the billionaire to answer questions from fans. The experience is available as part of the owner's experience tour at AT&T Stadium or a private group tour. Tickets for the former tour come at $55 a pop at AT&T Stadium, which is something you can do when your team is worth $9 billion. The Cowboys reveal suggest topics to ask Jerry Jones hologram, such as his early life, upbringing, his collegiate football playing days at Arkansas, early business ventures, and his time as team owner and president and general manager. Of course, they're telling you to ask him what they've programmed it with. They're not going to ask you, so, Jerry, how many women have you banged on the road when you're away from your wife? Yeah, no, he's not going to answer that. You know what I'm saying? And what loser wants to go ask Jerry Jones a question, the AI Jerry Jones? I mean, seriously, bro. I mean, can your ego get any bigger? I know what'll be a good idea. An AI of myself answering questions to the fans. Oh, yeah, Jerry. That's fantastic. Or it's some kiss ass from the building. Hey, Mr. Jones, we got a great idea. We know you're the face of the franchise. Without you, the Cowboys wouldn't exist. In fact, the Cowboys are nothing without you, Mr. Jones. You're right. Well, we've got an AI. We can make one and you answer the fans' questions. What do you think about that, Mr. Jones? Well, that's fantastic. I think the fans would love to mingle with the owner. Even though I can't mingle with the fans on a consistent basis, they will have the pleasure and the honor of talking to my AI. Jerry's world, bro. It's Jerry's world, and we're all just living in it. It's amazing. Do you ask him? Can you ask him on the, hey, Jerry, since you've been running the team without Jimmy Johnson, why does your sorry ass can't win anything? Is he going to answer that? So, Jerry, do you think Dak Prescott is a choker? Is he going to answer that? Just wondering. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
right. Let's go over a little entertainment stuff. Let's go first with a little music history. On today, on September 8th, we go over a little musica history. In 1973, the Allman Brothers Band on this date started a 5-week run at number 1 on the album charts with Brothers and Sisters, their only album to top the charts. In 1993, on this date, Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain appeared on stage together for the first time performing at Club Lingerie in LA. In 2003, a Minnesota judge deemed Marilyn Manson not guilty of assault after a security guard accused the shock rocker of rubbing his crotch against the guard's head during a 2000 show. In 2003, David Bowie premiered his new album Reality in a live performance in London that was broadcasted to fans in movie theaters across the world. It was the first ever interactive concert. In 2002, on this date, Iron Maiden singer Bruce Dickinson started his new job as airline pilot. He flew from London to Portugal and Egypt for Astrias Airlines. In 1990, on this date, John Bon Jovi had the number 1 song in the country with Blaze of Glory from the film Young Guns Deuce. In 1995, Annie Lennox played a free concert at New York's Central Park. It was later released on CD. In 2005, Radiohead, Gorillaz, and Block Party and other bands recorded what was at the time the fastest album ever released. It was called Help, A Day in the Life, and went on sale 24 hours after it was recorded to benefit the charity War Child. Those are the things that happen in music history on this date. Let's go with birthdays today. Let's start off with the incredibly talented Pink. She is 44 years old today. Wiz Itoke Khalifa, the rapper, is 36 years old today. Bernie Sanders, my God, they actually had him run for president, and fools even voted for him. Bernie Sanders is 82 years old. Can you imagine voting that into presidency? Ugh. What else do we have here? David Arquette, actor, is 52. Big Boy, the DJ, is 54. Bruno Fernandes, soccer player, 29. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, the TV actor, is 42. Slim Thug, rapper, is 43. I have no idea who he is, and I don't know if he's big time, small time, medium time. Never heard of him, but I'll mention it. Patsy Cline, the country singer, was born on this date in 1932, passed away in 63. Bunch of TikTok stars. It's amazing how many TikTok stars there are. What else? Any other big names that I may know? Nick Williams, baseball player, is 30. And that's about it. Those are birthdays today. All right. That's what you got in entertainment. Oh, curious. Cater is in year 2 and came in as a UFDA. When does his contract come up? I think I want to say he has another year. Can you look it up on Spoelstra for me there, please? I want to say he has another year. I'm not sure if they control him for 4. For you, well, it also depends maybe on how many. No, maybe they signed him to 3 years. 3 years. So I was right. He has 1 more year left. So that's probably what they do. They catch you under a 3. So that's where Chris Greer can pull a special 1 year extra because he loves the 2-year deal to hook people in. So he's got 1 more year, doggy. He's setting himself up for some money, is what he's doing. Giants or Viking for that 3rd wild card? I would go with Giants over Vikings. The Vikings sold out too many players. I don't think they're going to be that good this year. Plus, they got lucky last year a lot, bro. They won a lot of close games and then started losing those close games. How did Saffold get a USA Today gig? He applied for it. That's usually what happens, my friend. You usually apply for a job. I'm not sure if you work for a living, but usually the way it works in this world is, oh, there's a job opening. I think I'll apply. And then they look over your resume and your application, then they interview you. And then after you get interviewed, sometimes you go for a second interview and then you get hired. That's how it happens. Don't know if you know that, but that's how you get hired at USA Today. It certainly wasn't like the editor woke up and said, I dreamed about some guy named Saffold Dean. Let me go hire him. No, it didn't happen that way. Let's see. GP Trap says, nice hat, Big O. Of course, you gave it to me. Just came back from a meeting. Big waste of time. Better off drinking a beer and taking a nap. Usually, beer and a nap is usually about the most productive thing you can do in a day. Jerry Jones should give the Cowboy fans free flat screen TVs since they break them every year. Yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe he should make a shatter-proof television for Cowboy fans. Big O, the Hurricanes volleyball team plays number 1 Wisconsin. I don't know anything about volleyball, but I'm in full support mode. Go Canes. All right, good for them. I have no idea. Slim Thug is going through a big-time RICO case right now. Really? Wow. Well, happy birthday to you, Slim Thug. RICO Thug, whatever we want to call you. Big O, is it better, left tackle Richmond Webb in his prime or Armstead? I know it's a mind boggler, but I would take Webb. Oh, I'll take Webb every day of the week and twice on Sundays. He's never injured. No brainer. Both great tackles, but one guy plays entire seasons. Right? Let me see. Let's go check out Richmond Webb. Here we go. Let's check out Richmond Webb's stats. See, here's where you have to take him every time over Teron Armstead, over and over and over and over and over again. Here is his career. Games played, started 16, right from his first year. 16, 14, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 9, 14, 14, 16, 4. Answer your question? 2 seasons where he had injuries, 1988 and his last year in 2004, where he probably wasn't a starter that year for Cincinnati. He was probably a part-time starter at that point. That dude played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 seasons, and he started 16 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the 13 he started 16 games. 3 more he started 14 games. Teron Armstead has nothing on Richmond Webb. Nothing. That's not a discussion. There is no argument. There's nothing ever you can put next to Webb of Armstead. Ever. It's over. That's it. 2 great tackles. One's way more available. Not even close. Okay? It's insanity if you don't take Richmond Webb. Absolute insanity. What's up, everyone? I'm late, but I won my bet with the Lions over KC. There you go. Just remember, John, when we're gone, let it play. Very important here on the platform. Let it play. We need hours watched. And please hit the hell out of the like button. That's I think we're done, bro. I think we're done. I think we've done some work today, right? A little bit. Just a tad. We thank Cameron Wolf. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank Anthony Chang. We thank Safid Dean. As always, remember, we are back. Oh, actually, you're back tonight, aren't you? Don't you do wrestling tonight? Didn't you move it to Friday? So, Squared Circle Digest. Sean is back tonight with Frankie. 8 o'clock? 6 o'clock, I'm sorry. Oh, I see what you're doing. You want to have Friday night available to you. That's smart. Oh, SmackDown comes on at 8? Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. So, your lead up to SmackDown, Sean and Frankie. Squared Circle Digest tonight, 6 to 8. Make sure you support it. Again, if you got time, turn it on at 6, even if you're not a wrestling fan. Watch hours. Just let it play. Let it play. And so we'll be back, Sean and myself, on Sunday, 2:25, 2 hours before kickoff at 4:25. Our pregame show will start. We'll have insight in the game, interviews, all kinds of stuff, picks, all kinds of things going on. I may do something tomorrow. You never know. Maybe some news breaks or something. You never know. Just keep abreast there of the platform. But we thank Sean Stanley, the man that masters this entire damn platform. Without him, we would be lost. We thank all of you out there. If you sent in a super chat, thank you very much. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. And remember, watch hours. Watch as much as possible. Even if you have to walk away, let it play. We love you all. You be safe out there. Go Inter. Go Canes. Go Dolphins. Go Marlins. Let's do it, baby. Let's get a big-time winning weekend done. See you all tomorrow. No, see you all on Sunday. Sean will see you later on this evening. Y'all be good. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the